Hey, folks, and welcome to another episode of Post Game Clarity, where after the game
comes the clarity.
I'm here with my two good friends. First, we have the Viscount of Criticism, Dorkax.
Hi. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it.
The Earless of Excitement, Drewdoodle.
So freaking true. I didn't even realize I got promoted to Earless. That's actually going to reflect really great on my portfolio this quarter.
It comes with extra coffee vouchers.
Oh, fuck yes, dude. I fucking love free coffee.
It is a bit of a different podcast this time. Hopefully we're not going to be talking for 10 hours about the game we're covering today, even though we are covering 3 games. So for those of you who listened to the behemoth that was the Metal Gear Solid 2 podcast, at the end I said I wanted Dork and Drew to play Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. For those of you who don't know, the Mega Man games were a series of run-and-gun platformers for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The first one came out in 1987, and they had almost yearly sequels for a number of years. Dork pointed out in Discord that this was like the original Call of Duty with like annual releases. It's a fairly simple platformer. You run, you jump, you shoot, but it's also kind of like a Cyborg Highlander, where you pick a robot to fight, and once you defeat them, you gain their power, and then you can use that power as a weakness for another robot. There's this really cool graph that goes through, which enemies have different weaknesses to which weapons. So there's optimal ways through the game. But what I also like is, for the most part, you can kind of play any level you want. So there's an element of choice to it that's kind of cool. Now, my first question is for both of you, and you can even discuss it amongst yourselves if you like. You've known for quite a while. I've made no secret that Mega Man 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, but yet I had you to play Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 3. I'd like you to theorize why that was.
Theorize?
What could the reason be? Is it
Dork.
Oh yeah.
Dork, I've got an idea. Come here.
I don't know. All right. You know what? Okay. No, I think we're good. I'm okay with 3 zibbas. We're not doing 4.
Too much zibba.
No, I could have done that for like 10 minutes, I'm going to be real.
Please input a buzzer sound. I'd like to buzz in on the answer.
Okay.
Is it to give us worse games to compare Mega Man 2 to put Mega Man 2 even more on a pedestal than it would have been if we just played Mega Man 2?
I would be lying if I said that wasn't a little part of it.
Put in the buzz again. It's my turn. I got it. Is it because there were 6 Mega Man's games for the Nintendos, and so that you wanted us to play half of them, and so that happened to be 3 by coincidence?
That's actually another small part of it. So you both
what the fuck?
You both get a quarter of a point.
Yes.
Now, I mean, you're pretty much all the way there. I always thought that Mega Man 1 was like a prototype for Mega Man 2, so I really wanted you to play that to see how the game iterated on the ideas or evolved the ideas from that first game. And then I wanted you to play 3 because even though 2 was my favorite, for most of my teens and 20s, when Mega Man fans would talk about the best games of the series, there was a huge amount of fans who would say that they liked 3 more than 2. Now, I never liked 3 more than 2.
Psychopaths.
Actual psychopaths.
We'll get to 3 in more detail because I do want to go through these games one at a time. But yes, I will say it has been maybe at least 20 years since I played Mega Man 3. There was, I think I was a teenager when I played 1 through 6 on a Nintendo emulator. But yeah, 3 was very different to how I remember it, and not in a good way. But I guess it was like to see maybe the continuation of that iteration or evolution. Because, hey, in the first game, it was pretty bare bones. They added some stuff like they added more incidental items that you could use to get around the level in number 2. And then number 3, they turned those items into a robot dog, and they gave you a slide. And then we're not covering Mega Man 4, but in Mega Man 4, they allow you to charge your weapon. So it's like every game does kind of add something new to the mix. Whether or not those new inclusions are successful in the way they implement them is something we'll obviously discuss. But do you kind of see where I was coming from?
Definitely.
Yeah, I can see it. I see the vision.
Okay, excellent. Now, another more general question I wanted to ask you too before we get into Mega Man 1. I made the joke as I was trying to explain the game that it's kind of a cyborg Highlander, that it can be only one. That might be a dated reference for most of our audience, maybe even you two. It's a series of films about how there are these warriors called Highlanders. There can be only one, that's the tagline, because every time they fight and one loses, the winner absorbs the power of the defeated foe. And eventually, there will only ever be one left. And Mega Man does kind of feel like that.
Dave, you're amazing.
Aw.
Because you chose to stick with this reference, one that I understood, but even still, I don't know if everyone else will. You chose to stick with it just because you liked it, and to really get there. You're like, you know what? I should explain my reference material, and then it'll help me explain why I made the reference to this game, which is a kind of explain. It's just like, I feel like you're 2 steps removed from explaining the game just as it is. You're like, listen, I gotta explain Highlander before I explain what this game is.
Okay. Let me put it maybe more in gamer terms then. I think the central mechanic... Shut up. I think the central mechanic or gimmick of the Mega Man games, what kind of makes them unique, is that idea of you fight a boss and you absorb its power and you gain its weapon, so then you can use that weapon not only in future stages but against future bosses. I wanted to know your general thoughts about that mechanic or core idea, or maybe you disagree that that's kind of what makes Mega Man special.
No, I'd say that's the only thing that makes it special. Like, I'd say, like, no, sorry, I didn't mean it to come off that mean. I'll make no secret, I don't really like these games much, but it was tough sometimes, because I was talking with Drew. I can totally see it. Like, there are times when you are overleveled, and like when you have the right weakness, you know, you're like, this is pretty fucking sick, you know? Like, you know, you have this arsenal because you killed someone for it, and now you're using this pretty unique gun or weapon or whatever to take down a different foe. And sometimes it does feel really cool to just I think there was one boss, I forget if it was in like 1 or 2, where you just like one-shot him, and you're like, oh my god.
You're like, yes.
I'd say, like, without that, though, this game is like, you know, it'd be fine. You know, again, I still wouldn't like it, but the central gimmick is for sure the reason why I think this series has lasted, even though it had a crazy history after, you know, NES, but still.
And Drew?
So I would actually like to say, regardless of my like actual opinions about the game, is I would like to say thank you to Dave for giving me like a reason to like finally play these, because they are very like popular. When I was growing up and first getting into YouTube, so this is like 10 to 12. I'm like 10 to 12, which means it's like 2011 or whatever, right? So I'm starting to get into YouTube, and so this is like a bunch of fucking millennials that are making their YouTube reviews, and so people can't shut the fuck up about Mega Man, and then I go get on fucking like play Flash games and shit, or like go watch sprite animations on Newgrounds that everybody's just using the fucking Mega Man sprites all the time, right? Because everybody fucking loves Mega Man, right? And so, yeah, I went back to watch Some call me Johnny. He's been around for forever. I went to watch some of his actual reviews now that I've actually played these games, because he's been around, like, he's been doing reviews since like 2007 and shit. That's crazy. And so it's like, yeah, you go back and you get this really old, like, you know, you get the 4x3 guy sitting in front of his 480p camera in his living room and whatever, talking about Mega Man. And then, yeah, so that was really cool. It's like, you know, I always grow up, and then of course we can't not talk about the sequelitis video. Mega Man, jump and shoot man, you know. Like, of course, cannot not talk about that. In fact, we will in a bit with Mega Man 1 with those damn Bomb Man platforms or whatever. So it's like you grow up and you just hear, in my generation, it's unfortunately really not going to happen for the generation prior, because Mega Man is fucking extinct now. But you grow up and you just hear about Mega Man constantly. And so to now have actually played these games for the first time, to actually have an opinion about them, it's been a great experience. Yeah.
And about the idea of the core concept of the games, do you agree with that?
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted.
Of course.
Yeah, I really like the idea, and especially I think it would be a little bit more forgiving with an actual like save system in place, because obviously I can just put my console in sleep mode now, and there's like the password system, but I think if there would be a way to maybe how do I want to say this, because it's technically there. But I think if you if you've replayed these games, you know an optimal path, or a path that you like, or a path that you want to try, like you can go in and just do it. And then, of course, you know, if you beat a stage, regardless of if you had the weakness or not, then you did it, which I think is for the better. But it is a great idea. It's a great concept. I think where it falls flat is in some of the execution, but as a concept, it has just so much, like, I can see why they were able to crank this out near annually, right? Because it really does have just such a unique idea, and because they kept getting weirder and weirder with the Robot Masters, with this very like unique template for sprite character design, like you could, any idea that you can come up with, you can just like cram out like 8 new ones. Like you can definitely keep it going if you have a solid enough idea, you know?
So I want to comment on that. So we all 3 of us played the Legacy Collection on, I played it on Steam. I think Dork played it on Steam. Did you play it on PC, Drew?
I played it on my Switch.
Okay, I thought that might have been the case. So I don't think I would have had even half as good a time if I didn't have the allowances that the Legacy Collection allows. There is save and load states for every game, so that's wonderful. I would have had that in the emulator. When I started this project, I did actually play my first session of Mega Man 1 in my NES emulator, and then I decided to move to the Legacy Collection, and that was a good choice. But it's the rewind mechanic. You can hold down the left button on the controller, and it will rewind, I'd say, like almost a minute, maybe even more of time. So especially when we get to Mega Man 3, the ability to reverse your mistakes and try again rather than having to die or continue and do huge chunks of a level all over again, or even, like a whole section, that's invaluable. But to jump off what you said, every game also has extras, like it has concept art and even kind of like a codex, a Wikipedia thing. And looking through the concept art for Mega Man 2, not only were there future Robot Master designs in there, because obviously it's like, we got to create a bunch of Robot Masters, just drop any idea you have. But there were robots in there that were just, I mean, there's no kind way to say this. They were just so fucking stupid.
What are some of your highlights?
I can't remember a single one. But it was just like, I'm looking through some of them and going, yeah, I know why that didn't make it in the game. Or it's like, hey, that's a Mega Man 4. So that's kind of cool. Actually, just to pull it back even further, when you're talking about the late 2000s and how every gamer on YouTube seemed to talk about Mega Man, when you both were about to complete Mega Man 2, I posted a song in chat called I Can't Defeat Airman, which apparently, I didn't even know this, was like, it was a huge fucking meme at the time. I mean, how else
Really?
how else did I hear about it? It must have been, because it permeated the culture. And it's this really cool rock song about how the guy can't defeat Airman, and he could if he had the wood shield, but he can't defeat Woodman. And it's like really well played, and whoever did the sprite animation for the music video it's just phenomenal work, especially for the time. It's like in really low res, because this is like 2007, 2008. But how YouTube does that weird thing where, oh, you've watched this one thing, here's something else. I was scrolling the other day after, it was it was only last week. We beat all 3 of these games in a week. That's how short these games are. Where, when I shared that song with you, I of course watched it again. I'm like, yeah, I remember this. This is great. Guys, I bought that song on iTunes at the time.
Fuck?
It was a different time. But YouTube recommended me, someone made a video a couple years ago basically detailing the history of that song. But it was more a deep dive into how insane Mega Man was as a part of gamer and internet culture in the late 2000s. And yeah, it's kind of wild to think about now. Just, yeah, there was a period where it's like, you can't throw a stone without hitting Mega Man somewhere.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah, like Mega Man was fucking everywhere, and obviously he's kind of unfortunately gone the way of the dodo, at least for right now, with the exception of these legacy collections. But I don't know. Look at him. Just look at him. He's a fun little guy to have around. I don't know. I don't think he's so bad, But I don't know. People just don't want to seem to freaking make this shit anymore.
I have to say, did they change the difficulty for Airman in Legacy Collection? Because I'm watching myself do it with a normal blaster, and I really fuck him up. Like, it's not. I didn't even have a challenge with it.
No, so there's 2 responses to that. One is that we all played on normal, and Mega Man 2 is the only game that has the difficulty selection. And difficult is such as was how things happened between Japan and American versions of games. Difficult in the American version is just normal in the Japanese version. In fact, they didn't have select. That was just their game. So bosses hit a lot harder and your weapons do less damage. So I could see that Airman could be more difficult if your pea shooter didn't do so much and if those cyclones really tore up your health. Actually, in Mega Man 3, I think there's a lot of difficulty tuning towards the harder direction where you can kind of see what that would have been like. But also, I think the song might have been a joke as well. Because, but maybe not, because in the manual, this is the US manual for the game, it has a step-by-step guide to take you through Airman stage. So I don't know, maybe Airman was a stumbling block for a lot of people.
Jesus Christ.
In this day and age, you can just say it was a joke, and everyone just has to go, okay. Like, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I am totally with you on the first one. That's totally fair. And this isn't really a big deal, but I'm totally using this as like a little, platform to rant on. I get so tired when people are like, how do you guys not see that it's a joke? It's like, saying the word joke isn't like it isn't like you're waving a wand and going, everybody stop talking about this unless you're laughing. It's like, we're not allowed to even engage with the words anymore because you just say the J word. It's just so silly.
I think it's permeated internet culture, but you've heard of Schrodinger's asshole, right? The person who says something offensive, and then based on whether people laugh or not, he'll say whether it was a joke or not.
Yep, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, if it's a rock, if it's like a parody rock song, then that, it has a little bit more going for it as a bit, right? Because at least it's like an actually good rock song that's like quoting a silly meme. You know what I mean?
And the thing that makes me think it is kind of in fun is that the second chorus is about how he could beat him if he had Woodman's shield, but he can't defeat Woodman. And Woodman is so fucking easy.
Is he? Yeah. No, I know it. There has to be humor involved because it sounds like a funny song. I just mean, like, art always comes from somewhere, so
I get what you mean. And
if this song is able to be a joke, then I'm able to say in a joking manner, bro.
Yeah. And to maybe get a little serious, it's funny how childhood kind of goes both ways when you're thinking about video game difficulty. On the one hand, you had a lot more time as a kid. So, a game you would not even give, 10 minutes. You persevered at as a kid because it's the only game you had and you got through. It's like, I couldn't do that today. I don't have the patience. But even, you might just not be able to have the drive or the ability to develop those skills anymore. But on the other hand, I think there's also lots of bosses in games where you play them when you're young and they're really difficult. And then you get older and you go back to the game and you're like, how did I ever find this difficult?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, well,
you're not wrong. It absolutely cuts both ways. I've totally been there where I'm like, oh boy. Because it's funny because I've been revisiting some games and I have the muscle memory of them as a kid, but I also have the remembrance, is that a word for this? For I have this small sense of dread of here comes a boss I know is tough, and then it's no, it wasn't at all. Yeah. It was just very simple. So I don't know what I internally had this built up in, in my head. It's as a kid I must have struggled or something.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things. I guess it's why there's always a pro and a con to revisiting stuff you liked as a child. It can go both ways.
Like a bisexual.
Yes, which is how we're going to segue into talking about Mega Man. I don't know why that makes any sense. It doesn't.
Mega Man 3, Gemini Man.
Yeah, Mega Man is bisexual because Mega Man is a drag queen because he takes on many identities. So there we go. Let's fucking get into it.
All right.
Okay.
So, Mega Man 1 has 6 stages at the start you can pick from, any of them.
Yes.
And since I'm the host, I'm just curious, guys. I stole it. I stole Dave's hosting powers. I defeated Dave, and now I'm using his power of hosting now.
Oh, but I'll be back. I'll be back before you fight Wily.
Wily Coyote. You mean Willy, right?
Don't
Willy.
You even
Dr.
No.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
Willy.
No, you don't.
It was funny because
no.
me and Drew were just genuinely trying to talk about the game, and I was just like, I fucking hate Willy. And then Drew just starts laughing at me. I'm like, what?
Make way for Willy.
She's like, oh, Willy, I love that. I'm like, oh, what? What do you mean? Is that not his name?
Yeah, the spelling and the pronunciation.
I think the font is also a little bit non-legible. Not that I would know anything about how to make a font legible, but
yeah, we have a game dev in chat, everybody.
True. Go watch my update video and tune into my stream tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, Dave, what do you want to talk about with Mega Man 1?
Okay, well, I thought we'd maybe start general, and then if you wanted to talk about very specific things and stages, we could go granular like that. So, Mega Man 1 is, I said earlier that I think it's kind of like a prototype for Mega Man 2. In my 1987 NES video, I mentioned how, the enemies will drop balls that give you points, and every Robot Master will give you a bunch of points. And the whole thing felt, I like using this word, but it might be one I overuse. It felt vestigial, like they were coming from the arcades. Capcom were coming from making games for arcade machines where points are a big fucking deal because there's leaderboards. And they make this game for the NES and they're like, well, it's a game, so it has to have points in it. But all the points did for me was piss me off because instead of getting ammo or a health drop when I shot an enemy, which I really need, more often than not, I would just get points.
Honestly, fuck off. Sorry, not you, Dave. I mean, the game. Because, yeah, it's crazy because again, like Mega Man 1 is so much smaller. I beat this in one play session, so I have more like memories of 2 and 3 at this point. But yeah, it was a very welcome change in 2 when I would just get more health back. Because then it's like, oh, good, we have an actual video game here, opposed to this, get good snowball simulator,
I guess I wanted to start with favorite parts, but as we're ranting, let's just keep going. Another thing is just, I really dislike how the boss doors don't lead to just a corridor to collect yourself before you fight the boss.
What the fuck is that?
It actually has.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, enemies, and the one to Electric Man really shit me because it has those electric beams that have really bad timings on them. So I always thought I'd avoid them, and then I'd walk right into them. And by the time I went to Electric Man, I had like a sliver of health left, and there was no fucking way I was going to beat him.
Yeah, dude, that hallway really shit me off.
Yeah, it's and I don't know.
Yes, okay. Yeah, it's the one that's in like the TikTok format for some reason. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it. It's I hated those freaking electric traps because okay, I have 2 rants about this, right? One, I'm a big audio cue guy, right? I do way better if I can like associate like a timing of a hazard or like an enemy attack to some kind of audio tell. So that's what I was trying to do. But the problem is when the audio stops, there's still like a half second to like a full second where they're out still. And I'm like, okay, I can't use the audio cue, or at the very least I have to adjust my, like mechanics or my inputs on like, okay, after the audio cue's done, wait, and then we go, which is just unnatural. But two, that hallway there you're on a ladder and you go up and it's in like the YouTube short format, right? And it has 3 of them. The game, listen, this is a relic, right? And I understand. But if you have a limitation where for some reason you can only play 2 of the 3 audio cues, if you have 3 of them there, don't put 3 of them there. Because you only hear 2. You only hear bzz, bzz.
Dork, bzz, I really hate to actually you on this one. But the middle one goes and then the other 2 go. So you really only need 2 audio cues.
Oh, shit. You know what? Myself. Hang on.
Dave's right. I will say though the hitboxes are super effective.
I want you to remove this whole part. I don't want to be wrong ever. So I cannot be seen by our viewers as incorrect ever. So please remove this part and this part explaining it.
We'll make this part into a Patreon exclusive.
Ooh, this is so funny that I kind of want to keep it in.
At this point, you kind of have to keep it in, sadly. That's just the rules. But yeah,
Dork, what I will give you though is the hitboxes for the electric traps are that they can kind of be a little bit like, I thought I was like just out of reach. Yeah,
I think the hitboxes overall are pretty. I mean, I was the it's tough to know like which game I complained this. I know it was the final boss of Mega Man 2 for sure, which I'll talk about when we get there. But overall, there was just this like general feeling of like they clearly have square or like harsh angles on their hitboxes, and they can't really like map onto the actual enemy. Which again, it was the style at the time. It was a limitation at the time. I get it, onions on their belt and all. But it if you're not used to it, it is pretty annoying when you're jumping and trying to hop over an enemy, and you're going at an angle and you hit their like right angle that isn't even on them. Yep. It's like, oh my god, okay, rewind. Thank goodness there's a rewind, because I don't think that's fair.
Especially because this is something that all 3 games have. I think it got worse by the final game. But
3?
So the final game we played.
3. But, it got way worse than 3. I can't wait to get to that.
But yeah, I find it really weird that if you hit an enemy, it will take off like I'd say maybe a 5th or 6th of your health. Whereas if an enemy has a gun and you get hit by the gun, you might only get 2 or 3 lives. Sorry, what do you think they're called? Like pellets, little slivers of health?
Little ticks, yeah.
Yeah, you only get
ticks, yeah.
Yeah, you only get about like 2 or 3 ticks. But yeah, hitting anything will just destroy you, which, as long as we're ranting, those big pogo bastards that are usually before the boss doors, where it's random whether they make a short little hop where they'll hit you, or they'll make a big hop that you can run under. And don't even try and find a way to shoot them. It's not worth it.
Yes. So, one, that whole thing makes no sense where it's like, so on one hand, I can kind of understand in the sense that it almost kind of seems like in an action game sense, it makes absolutely no sense why we'd want to get hit with their attack more than we'd want to touch them, right? Mm-hmm. But in the platformer, sense of it, it's like, okay, I kind of get it. This kind of feels like a platformer hazard in a way. Or maybe it was a way for them to be like, don't just ignore and try to jump past enemies. You should probably kill them. Perhaps that was the goal there. But
into what you said, the fact that Mega Man has a few frames of invincibility every time he gets hit, I think it's mixed messages, because so many players would just be like, I'm powering on.
Yeah, exactly. In all 3 games, it was like, again, if we didn't have the rewind, I'm sure I'd have to plan around this even more. But, if I got hit from a boss, for instance, with their whole body, I would rewind and be like, you can't afford that. It takes off a third of your health. That's insanity. Yeah. So I would be like, okay, if I can't avoid getting hit from this, I'm going to go back even further, get hit with his actual attack, so then I can be invincible for it. It's so silly. And what was the thing afterwards you said about...
Slivers of health, the pogo guy?
Yeah. Hang on. Are there people out there who are like, I'm going to fight this guy?
Well, okay, so in Mega Man 3, how there was their version of the pogo robot, which was more like a... It looked like an F-Zero racer with 2 giant hydraulics on it.
Sure.
Well, that one, I found out through experimentation, if you hit it in the windshield with a hard knuckle, it dies.
The fuck?
So we ain't talking about Mega Man 3.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm sure the pogo guys in Mega Man 1 probably have a weakness, but it's just where they are, and, in many levels, you probably don't have it, so it's just well, I guess I better hope that they jump high instead of jump low so I can walk under them.
And do you want to risk it? And also, do you want to use up your ammo? Because your ammo is so tiny for these guns.
Yep. And
what the fuck, Dave? What gives?
Well, it's very inconsistent. When we get to Mega Man 2, which has the best weapon in the entire fucking series, that weapon hardly takes any ammo, and then there are other weapons where you fire it once and half your ammo is gone. Which Mega Man 1 kind of has one of those. You have Gutsman's power, which is the ability to lift giant blocks and throw them, and there just happen to be giant blocks around most of the stages. Now, the boss that is weak to Gutsman is Cutman. Cutman has 2 giant blocks in his boss arena, as do a lot of the enemies, actually. A lot of the bosses. The problem, and this happened during my play, it's very easy to miss the bosses with a throw. So I missed the second throw when I was fighting Cutsman, and I was on so low health that when I changed back to the normal weapon, he got me. And this was before I went to the Legacy Collection. I would have just rewound if I was on the Legacy Collection. So I went back in that room, and the Guts blocks were gone. Like they didn't respawn, and I just found that so infuriating.
Oh, dude. Okay, yeah, horrible. So what you're saying is... and this would track with that one boss in Mega Man 2 that we'll talk about, the infamous one in Mega Man 2. So it's almost like they have this internal Dark Souls logic, which means that Dark Souls copied Mega Man, kinda, if you think about it. Sorry, I guess I should explain. So Drew, if you don't know, I suppose this happened in Demon Souls too. All your consumables, even though you can respawn and all the enemies come back, all your consumable items except, in Dark Souls, your Estus Flask always comes back. But everything else you pick up, if you used it, it's gone now. So even though For example, there's an infamous one I talk about in my Sekiro video. There is a boss that's like weak to a certain item you can get, but it's a consumable item. So if you use it, especially if you use it on your first try, which you're not going to be able to, most likely in a Sekiro boss, you're not going to be able to, complete it first try anyway. Yeah. It's like, what's your intention here? For us to waste them on our first 4 tries and then have to get good on the 5th, 6th, and 7th? It just seems so stupid.
Yeah. That's why in Dark Souls, I never used consumable, the things that give your weapon properties, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to actually make it through, even if I have the help.
Yeah, it's a really backwards thinking where it's like, we don't want anyone to rely on it. And also we want to make their uses meaningful. Well, what you're doing is actually making it so we don't want to use them because we know we might waste them instead. It's so weird. It's
a worse version of that problem where when you're playing a turn-based RPG, you don't use all the really special potions you pick up because you might need them for a hard boss, and then you end up beating the game and you've never used one of them.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that meme at this point where it's like, oh, here you should really use these. What's that? Hoard it like a dragon. Got it, right? Yeah. But I almost think the Dark Souls way is almost to counteract it, but it just did not work clearly. And obviously Capcom took inspiration 20 years earlier, surprisingly.
and sadly, just going back to Dark Souls, this pervasive philosophy on how to play these games was created. So, you have this huge vocal player base going, oh, if you use any item at all, you're a noob.
Yeah, it's you have to go in pea shooters only, final destination. This is the path for the robot master. This is the only thing that you could fucking do. Yeah.
Which this links to something I mentioned in Discord, and you actually wanted me to bring this up at the Pod Dork, where I said, I think the ultimate challenge run for a Mega Man game would be a no damage run.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Well, that's ridiculous, Dick.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Be insane. Well, I don't know. I'm watching a long play right now as we're recording, and this person's kind of cracked, actually. They're going kind of crazy.
Drew, just in case you didn't know, there have been people who played all of FromSoft games, starting from Demon's Souls, and if they take any damage in any of the games, they have to go back to Demon's Souls. They play them all in a row without getting hit.
I would
and if
kill
they get
myself.
hit, they have to. Right, exactly. So of course there are legends, right? But those are outliers. I just think the attacks in Mega Man 1 are so fucking erratic and hard to. And the screen is so tiny. Oh, I didn't even get started. All of these games, and again, it's probably a memory thing, right? Because it's an NES cartridge. But fuck them. They respawn the enemy that you just killed. If you go left 2 inches, and you go, oh, good, he's back. Immediately, he's back. What were they thinking with this?
No, but on the other hand, I did use that at certain points to farm weapon energy back. So at the other, at the very least, you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, as a crutch because the ammo system is fucking dumb. Yeah. You're using it to fix a different problem with the game. Drew, did you remember the part? And I think this one, because you had to get the ammo for the platform gun. So they make you go up and down the ladder 8 times at the end of the game. What were they thinking?
Can we discuss that platform gun, or as I call it, the Candy Cane shooter? Because
the Candy Cane shooter.
That's what we're gonna say from now on.
That is so inconsistent. It's theoretically you can hold down the button and shoot a big platform. That works sometimes. Sometimes it will shoot into the wall, so you get a nice hop up. Other times it's kind of in the air. It just, I never knew if it was going to work.
Yeah, I'd say, again, the rewind function is almost vital because, I even have some in my footage of that specific area too, where I had to go down, the ladder to get all the ammo because it was such a narrow little area you had to use it in. And sometimes you would be aiming at the wall, but the majority of the platform would go into the wall, so you couldn't even use the platform. You just shot out. And I was like, I was just thinking, what were they thinking with this?
You can you need that item for Wily's Castle, yet in Mega Man 1, this is the only game where they don't give you these items after you beat a certain boss. This item is behind 3 Guts blocks in Electric Man stage. So theoretically, you could get to Wily and have never collected that item because you might not have had Guts Man's power, and you might have forgotten about it. Also, it doesn't look that different to like the ammo, if I recall.
Dave, I really, really, really doubt that happened to any of us, though. So who cares, right? We can just move on.
Really? Wait, guys.
What, Drew? No way.
Guys, I have something to confess, but you guys have to promise. You guys have to promise not to laugh at me.
Okay.
Oh, I can't make that promise.
You have to pinky promise and cross on your mother's heart and hope she dies that you're not going to laugh at me.
I would never hope my mom dies, but sure.
True. So that did happen to me, and so I had to go back. I had to quit. I had to kill myself in Wily Castle, and then I had to go back to Electric Man stage. And the only reason I knew about that, because I'll be real, I think I beat Electric Man, and I hadn't done Guts Man yet, so I couldn't even get it anyway. But I saw it sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, what a cool little! That's probably like a bonus thing, surely, right? Like that's like what a fun little bonus thing that even this game about collecting weapons is a bonus weapon, and it's completely optional." And then I got to Wily Castle, and it was like required, and I saw that in a YouTube video, and I was like, "What the fuck is this candy cane shit?" So then I had to get on fucking Google, and I was like, how the fuck do I get the candy cane shit in Mega Man? And then we were like, yeah, it's that thing in Elecman's thing. And I was like, what the fuck? And so then I had to go back and play the whole stage again. It was fucking stupid. I mean, granted, I was able to get none of the stages in Mega Man. I mean, if they kick your ass, then it'll take forever. But like, if you actually like, when you come back with some weapons, if you have to replay them or you choose to replay them, heaven forbid, you can get through them in like 5 minutes or some shit. It's a normal platforming. So like you just do it, and so it's like but I had to redo it, which was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like I was sitting there just gobsmacked by staring at my phone. I was like, huh? It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's.
Anyway, thank you for following your promise. I appreciate it.
Oh no! I mean, yeah. It was a journey. And
it was a Dave's video game journey,
and I don't think you're my video game journey. Shut the fuck up! Stop.
No, it was
giving Dave credit for shit that I did.
Well, if you think about it, it was I who had us play these games. So in a way,
it was I all along.
but yeah, who has the idea gets all the credit, as we've seen with certain like tech bros, right? Guys, I have an idea. What if we had like a cooler phone?
Make it.
Genius. He's a revolutionary.
Guys, what if we got rid of the button that was on the phone and we turned it into a vibrating touchpad of sorts, and then later we got rid of it altogether?
Guys, what if we like remove like half the holes in this phone? Jesus Christ. Anyway, okay. I have to say, Dave, specifically when talking about Mega Man 1, the movement felt way slipperier than the other two. And the gravity for the Gutsman stage on the platforms is really weird.
Okay,
Can you explain and expand on what the fuck they were thinking with this?
Okay, I don't know the actual specifics, but if you miss the platform section of Gutsman, it's like gravity triples and you just plummet. You go right down. And apparently that is a programming error. Where
shit, really?
Yeah, I don't know why it's like that, because it's not like that anywhere else in the game.
Yeah, no.
Or you know what it might have been? Maybe that was the program for like if Mega Man falls in a pit, he goes down and he's dead. But that whole section is over a giant pit, so maybe they couldn't make it its own area, or it conflicted with like the pit logic. Anyway, that section is infuriating Because, like, to go back to, Ego Raptor's sequelitis video, he talks about
Could I just say, I am shocked that someone with the track record of fucking Game Grumps Ego Raptor said that those platforms are good.
No, I actually agree with him in that it's actually really good design and how it teaches you how that section works. Because, the first row, when you hop on it, there is no gap, so you can just ride it, and then you see the other one coming, and then you see a drop when it hits that gap, so you know that, oh, shit, I'll have to jump over that. It's just trying to actually execute that plan, especially with the gravity just going right down. You don't even get like a pixel's notice. You have to be exact. Like, there's a reason that is the most infamous part of Mega Man 1, maybe the Yellow Devil.
I think probably Yellow Devil is probably worse.
Sorry, I mean most infamous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dave, I want to push back a little bit because I think what you're saying is fine. I mean, in terms of a moment-to-moment, like, hey, baby, if you go left here, sure, whatever. But in terms of, player forgiveness, you can talk all day about how the first platform is good teaching for the second and third. Whatever, but if you're gonna fucking start your level and you know that's gonna be hard, don't put fucking annoying enemies in front of it too. Like, if you have to restart that fucking level, I don't want to have to shoot these goddamn assholes every time. It's pissing me off.
But they're the little helmet beetles. They're iconic.
They're iconic and classic.
Suck an egg, because they fucking suck dick. I hate them. There are so many enemies.
If they were sucking dick.
There are so many enemies that just are like, I'm gonna shoot not one, not two, 3 to 7 projectiles at once. Like, oh, great, thanks, dick. Let me try to get in between them like it's a freaking bullet hell. That's so cool. I'm Mega Man. I don't even have a slide yet.
Well, if you were good at the game.
Give me Dave, I am now gonna pull out my I have beaten Cuphead, A ranked every boss, and also passive ranked all the stages. I am good when the game gives me the tools to be good. This game has no tools except left, right, and jump, and that's it.
Dork, this isn't Cuphead. This is Mega Man. You may be confused.
Yeah, so, and Cuphead is like 1,000 times better than this trash.
Cuphead is a different game, Dork. I think you're confused.
I don't think the developers of Cuphead were born yet, Dork.
So, like, if you run up and jump and shoot before the beetle pops out of its shell, you will kill it before it even shoots. There you go. Right. It's that easy.
Which
I'm obviously doing a bit here, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Dork, but
no. I would say, in all seriousness, you are right. But again, I think that kind of almost goes to the idea that these games are meant to be replayed.
Yes.
With your knowledge, because on a first go, you get hit a lot, and again, it's all about learning. But when you have such harsh, like live systems and like all these checkpoint shit, it's a little hard to be like, it's hard to throw yourself in the mentality of like, let's experiment and learn. If I didn't have the rewind function to be like, okay, it's almost like a Dark Souls 3 boss where it's like, or you know what, I'll even go Elden Ring, like one of the harder bosses where it's like, I know the first 3 attempts are just going to be me learning, so it's like, all right, let's learn all these stupid enemy attacks. Okay, he shoots 3. Okay, exactly how far. It's just, listen, you're right. You're not wrong. You're right. I just hate how small the screen is, so they spawn in, and you get almost no time. It's like,
it's kind of like a thing that other contemporaries would start. I mean, Mario had it more or less figured out, which, I mean, is to be expected because Mario's goated. But, Sonic shows up on the screen, and it's kind of like the opposite problem for Mega Man, where, like, Sonic just runs too fast, and so you can't really see what's coming, but in Mega Man, like, Mega Man's just trotting along and then 50 enemies just, like, plowing out of nowhere. And so it's kind of like the opposite version of the same problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I found, like, the best success after a while with just, like, tiptoeing into uncharted areas to let one enemy spawn at a time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take like 1 or 2 steps, stop, jump and shoot, kill everybody, and then take another 2 steps. Yeah.
And
this game does not want you to be fast on the first time, but I think you can be when you know the game.
Yeah, and to talk about what, because Dork said that in the Discord a couple days ago about how these games feel like they're designed to be replayed, and that's definitely part of why Mega Man 2 is such a favorite. Because, I know that game like the back of my hand. I can almost sleepwalk through it, except for the turrets. That always gets me. But we'll talk about those. And I agree. I don't think that's good design. I don't like trial and error gameplay. I like the idea that if I just kind of take a breath and observe the situation with what I have at my disposal as a player, I can make it through. But,
what I would say is, and I think we'll still come to the same conclusion, is that I don't mind trial and error gameplay if you have enough forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. Like not game overing or not running out of fucking some of my favorite games are fucking Rayman Legends, and I fucking love Cuphead and everything, and like those are literally our trial and error games where they're like, all right, here's everything, get fucked and get better than us.
Really? Because like Rayman Origins, I remember, was fairly, sure, there were difficult parts, but you could see what was coming and you could adapt to it. Rayman
Origins and Legends are very much, in Legends' case, literally, they are like rhythm games, right? Where they would say, go run as fast as you can. And yes, there is forgiveness for sure, but they're always go as fast as you can. And you have to just complete these sequences, especially Origins. They're just run. You have to get through these sequences without stopping, right? But in those stages, there's no limited lives. You can usually quite easily get an extra hit, which sometimes doesn't help because you're supposed to be running the whole time, so you just fucking die anyway. But there's there's plentiful checkpoints, right? So it is a trial and error game, but you don't have to trial and error an entire 6-minute stage at a time.
Yeah, the I think the most egregious version of bad checkpointing was the extra stages, the remix stages in Mega Man 3. Yes. I thought that Mega Man 1 and 2 had pretty generous checkpointing. I think the Wily Castles were a bit rough, but I mean, they are the final levels of the game, so maybe it's to be expected. But, I wasn't too mad with the checkpointing in most of the levels.
Well, yeah, when you get to the iconic Mega Man before boss hallway, it's okay, yes, this is I've reached a beautiful haven from which to prepare and make my save state,
Make my save state.
Did both of you jump through the boss hallways, the boss doors?
Jump through? No.
Because it freezes Mega Man in his pose when you walk through them. So, something I've always done since I was a kid, I think a lot of players do this. You jump through the doors, so Mega Man is frozen in his jump pose as you go to the door.
That's fucking adorable. I didn't realize that, but that's fucking awesome.
I wonder if it's always Drew. We obviously grew up with playing the N64 Zeldas a lot, right?
Right.
Even if we didn't have to, I think we eventually started to get into the habit of rolling before we had to hop off a ledge thing.
Mm-hmm. I would
obviously
say,
it does give you more speed, but even if we didn't have to, it just became a habit of here's a ledge, and in that game you auto jump. I'm gonna roll into it just because you just do it.
Yeah, there's the little things that you would just kind of teach yourself to the point that you just do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny. Oh, I also have to mention in Mega Man 1, I don't think they return. They straight up have an enemy that looks exactly like a Metroid. It's in
Isn't that in Heatman stage in Mega Man 2? No, sorry, it's in Bubble Man stage in Mega Man 2.
Was it 2?
Yeah, because I remember when you played Bubble Man was your first stage of Mega Man 2, and you're like, there are Metroids here.
All right, then I'll trust you. However, so that's cool. And at that point, Metroid was already out because I think that was 87. Metroid came out along with Mega Man, right? And 89 was Mega Man 2. So I'd imagine that was for sure a little nod, which is fun.
Actual Lion King versus Kimba level conspiracy.
Oh, right. So, one thing that's on all the games you played, but it really, you had to learn it in fucking Mega Man 1. Dave, these disappearing blocks, man.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering when we were going to talk about them.
Oh, boy.
Those, because you happen to mention that you have those like sound effects ingrained in your mind. No, yeah, I can see why they can genuinely give a kid trauma.
Yep.
Because again, it's funny. It's hilarious. Actually, you can tell because I'm laughing so much. Genuinely, it's kind of funny that like all of us have been talking about. There's not enough allowance, like for failure. There isn't, like enough like forgiveness there. And it's funny that in almost all of the sections that have the disappearing blocks, there isn't that much punishment. You just fall down and try again. Yep. That makes it so much worse in a way, because then you have to sit there and try to like time it out again, and you keep hearing the and actually it's sometimes worse because when you rewind this game, the audio rewinds too, so you hear like both tones of it.
And in Mega Man 1, because I think Iceman is the level that has the disappearing blocks in it. One of the stages
and Electric Man
has one of the stages has those little bastards that you can't shoot, that if you're standing on the same platform as them, they go really fast to try and hit you. And one of the discipline blocks rooms has one of those at the bottom. So if you fall off and have to wait to try again, you have to avoid that fucker. But I learned very quickly that you can kill those things with the cut blade. So there's at least that.
With the Cuphead, you said?
Cut blade. The cutter.
You went with the RKO?
Yes.
That's dope. Wrestling, am I right? Now all I gotta do is reference Dead Rising and we're golden. Easy, actually.
Yeah, we're about
they
to
have
hit
the fucking
bingo.
they have the Mega Man helmet in all of like the Dead Rising games, because did you know that the person who made Mega Man is the guy who made Dead Rising?
Yeah. Well, I think Inafune was the character designer on most of the games. I'm not sure if he was the lead designer.
Oh yeah,
was he
I know
also
that
the fucking?
Inafune
Was he
was
also the fucking Mighty Number 9 guy?
He is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
No, I honestly, okay, hang on. If you guys don't mind, hang on. Inafune, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really like his body of work, because it isn't even close to like, a Kojima where it's like just crazy banger after banger. He was involved in so many games, and not all of them are great, but this guy clearly loves fucking video games, he fucking loves them. And he clearly enjoys, because, in fucking like Dead Rising 1, he has like the Mega Blaster gun as a special weapon if you get the, like the 53,000 like zombie kill thing. So you can use the real Mega Man Blaster in Dead Rising, and it's OP as fuck. It's you just absolutely love to see, a person who works in video games who just cherishes them, unlike David Cage, for instance. Who's
but on the other hand, Mighty Number 9. Oh boy, Dave, you remember that one?
Well, look, I remember how badly it was received. I have not played it, so I can't really speak on how bad it is.
Well, don't you remember the whole Kickstarter ramp up lead up to it? That was insanity.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Drew, as a counter argument, he was the executive producer in Ghost Trick.
Fuck. Oh, shit, you fucking got me. You fucking got me.
I knew you loved that one. Isn't that crazy? This guy he's involved in so much stuff. It's just cool.
But the disappearing blocks, to go back to them, the reason I dislike them is there is always at least one of those configurations where you have to wait a few seconds and then jump, because the next block you have to land on is right above where you are. If you wait too long, the block you're on will disappear. But if you jump too early, because there's weird, like, especially in Mega Man 1, it kind of tries to shove Mega Man onto like a grid. I think he's more grid-based movement. So there were plenty of time where I tried to land on the block above me and it would push me off. And they use that move in all three games. and I just hate the idea of having to wait that little bit longer and then jump straight up to land on a block that might be there if I got the timing right.
Dave, I am so glad you just validated the fuck out of me, because I was thinking Dave and Drew are platforming, messiahs. They're a lot better than I am at this. I felt so dumb and so, just thinking like this is probably only an issue for me, because oh my god, I hated because you're right. I think in all of them you have to do a thing where you stand on one block and you have to get the timing right to just appear on the one above it. And I'm just thinking, am I doing something wrong? Am I stupid for not seeing the right way to go and I'm doing it the wrong way? You just validated my whole soul.
Oh, I'm glad, and I'll let you in on a bigger secret. In all three games, when I got to, because they usually, when there's a disappearing block section, they ramp up the difficulty. They'll be like, I'd say about 4 screens worth, right? And by the time you get to screen 3 or 4, they get really annoying. So in all three games, by that point, I usually get to a point in the sequence where I can use one of the items to just bypass the rest of the sequence. The most infamous version is in Heatman stage of Mega Man 2. You can use item number 2, the jetpack, and just fly right to the end, because fuck trying to jump on those blocks over a bottomless pit for like 5 minutes.
Drew?
Yeah, as far as sorry, I was looking up the soundtrack.
Of course you were.
But can I just say, as far as the disappearing blocks, low-key, I kind of found them like fun. Like, I don't think they're good design per se, but I'm just such a fucking sucker for that type of shit, especially because like they're not really over any bottomless pits in this game, so I kind of just like sitting there and trying to figure it out for a little bit, because my little brain is like, oh, I could try, oh, I gotta do it, like I gotta do this.
You know what?
Yeah, I was like, yes, audio cues, yes. So I just kept fucking throwing myself at it because I'm a little nerd.
Fair enough.
That's interesting, because like I think I have the same thing. Not with those. I'll let you keep that hat exclusively. But like I know what you mean, because anytime I'm in a platforming section of a game, and it's one of those ones where like the platform will like give out after half a second. I'm just like, this is my zone. I am really good at these, because I have I have a knack, right? I want to toot my own horn, right? I have a knack for playing video games. I'm a god at them, right? So it's
True.
So
True.
Do I keep going with this? Basically,
yes.
It feels strangely comfortable for me, where it's like the moment I land, it just feels really awesome to be like, yep, jump. So I think in like Mega Man 3 they had those ones that had the breakaway ones. And I
like those.
And sure, on the footage you'll see I did rewind now and then. Shut the fuck up, all right? But listen, no, it's fun, I didn't get that feeling with the blocks, Drew. You are just a platforming Jesus.
Wait, Drew, you actually got through Heatman's blocks, right? You didn't take the easy way.
I did.
Yeah, that trap. What the fuck did you do?
No, I got through the fucking fire chute, the infamous fire chute.
Sorry. I didn't mean that, Drew, but I definitely want to go back to that. I mean in Heatman in Mega Man 2 stage with the disappearing blocks over the bottomless pit.
Oh, I did need to use some rewinding for that, but it's like, yeah, you just keep going. That ironically was very much like a Rayman Origins thing, where like once you get on the first couple blocks, it's like, okay, so they just want me to keep running and like holding my jump as much as possible.
Well, I tried to do that this time, even using rewinds, and I just got so mad because the timing on the blocks appearing wasn't consistent.
I don't know.
They
Drew is calling you out on this one. I don't know, man. I think it was consistent.
I just think you have patience for this. Although I will thank you, Drew, because actually I think both of you got through the Quickman lasers without using Flashman's freeze because you hadn't fought Flashman yet. And I did it myself because I never thought I could. When I was a kid, I could never get through the second set of lasers. They were too quick for me. So I played this game, dozens upon dozens of times since I was a kid, to my teens, to my 20s, not so much in my 30s. It's been a while since I last played Mega Man 2. But, I always use Flashman's freeze, and then I would just fight Quickman with the main gun. And this time, because you both did it, I'm like, you know what? I have rewind. I'm going to see how hard this actually is. And it's not that bad. It's definitely that thing we talked about earlier, where when you're a kid, things can seem really difficult, and then you grow up and without rewind, it's fucked. Let me just get that out of the way.
Hang on. I even want to say, okay, Dave, I totally wanted to be like, actually, Dave, I did use a weapon on that stage. I used the rewind, and it would have been a huge laugh. In fact, if you want to add a laugh, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Please don't add a boo instead, though. I know how you guys are, okay? Don't add a boo.
Okay.
Anyway.
Don't add either of those sound effects. Put instead of bro sound effects.
No, you know what? Anyway. No, seriously. I think it's way harder than even you're saying, Dave. I had to rewind, and oftentimes it wasn't just a rewind of one screen. You'd have to rewind multiple screens, because if you go right on a certain part, you literally don't have time to get over. You have to go left beforehand. It's impossible to know.
It's that thing you were saying before, both of you, about forgiveness. And this game being trial and error, it doesn't give you the forgiveness to make a mistake like that.
Hang on, I had a thought. Do you think this is frame rate dependent? Is it like are my like lasers quicker than yours because I had a higher frame rate? Maybe it just seems.
Oh, maybe like with NES slowdown, maybe.
No, because the Legacy Collection is the NTSC versions. I actually had this problem, right? So PAL being 50 frames a second and NTSC being 60 frames a second. So games in Japan and America were a lot faster than games their counterparts in Europe and Australia. So I had this problem where for years I would play Mega Man 2 on emulator. I didn't know I was playing the American version. So when the Wii came out with its virtual console and Mega Man 2 was available, I bought Mega Man 2 immediately. And I played it, and it felt so fucking wrong because I was living in Australia, so they sold me the PAL version of Mega Man 2, which was slower, and I hated it.
Dave, can I ask you something?
Yep.
Did you bought it immediately? Did it happen to be a Wednesday?
Yes. Yep.
Did it happen to be update day for the Wii shopping channel?
I can't remember. I guess that was the thing. Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's a thing, all right. It's a thing,
all right, David. Let's just say that. Let's just say that it might be a thing.
I totally forgot what they're even... Nirvana the band. That's what it is.
Yes, I'll have to send that to you later, Dave. You'll fucking love it. But anyway.
Okay.
I used to listen to that. When Twitter was actually fun.
Good. Yes, we followed this account. Yes.
Yeah, there was an account that me and Drew followed where they would just put on like the Wii Shop Wednesday like little clip video every Wednesday, and sometimes like I'd say half the time you just kind of like see it and go yeah. But every now and then a Wednesday will hit you and you're like, it's fucking Wii Shop Wednesday, and I'd retweet it, I'd tag Drew or something, I don't know, and it's just like, let's go Wii Shop Wednesday.
I had one of those where it was a Thursday, and it was a song that
Sonic
was
Donkey Kong 3.
It was linked to the intro of Lucky Star, and I can't remember the song, but yeah, there were people I followed on Twitter that would repost that like every Thursday and be like, yeah, it's that thing.
Dave, you are obligated to listen to the song right now.
Yeah, we should give it to Dave.
Not right now, but link me afterwards and I'll go check it out.
That's
yes,
fair.
sir.
Yeah, so I wasn't even thinking about the like PAL slowdown. I just know like in some games the frame rate dictates how hard or how quick an attack is or something like that.
Oh no. This would have been coded to be that like NTSC because one thing. Okay, so this in a previous one of my NES videos, I talked about how I love it when games on the NES are too much for the hardware and you get that slowdown. Like one of my favorite moments of that is every time I play Mega Man 2, I always play Metal Man stage first. And at a certain point in Metal Man stage, there's just too many sprites on screen and it slows the fuck down and I love it.
That's hilarious. I do genuinely think stuff like that is funny. Like, as I've gotten older, And I think it, unfortunately, like the magic of that kind of got ruined because I grew up like watching like Game Grumps and shit. But I feel like if that didn't happen and a glitch just happened in a game, like I would just feel like, oh, I guess that just like happens sometimes. Or I'd be like, this looks really funny instead of like being really jaded about it. But now that I'm older, and even now that, especially because I'm getting into game dev, when crazy shit like that happens, low-key, I'm just like, what the fuck? Why did that happen? That's hilarious. What the fuck?
And then you find out it's because there's a PNG in a certain folder, and if you remove the PNG, the whole game crashes.
Yeah,
it was
the
a load-bearing
coconut.
PNG.
Yeah,
the load-bearing coconut. Yeah. But
load-bearing poster.
So Dork, because you thought the lasers might have been moving slower for me and Drew.
No. Sure. Okay. The whole point is, Dave, you're cracked. That the lasers are fucking impossible if we didn't have the rewind. Because it isn't just like 5 screens. It's like 20, if not more. I don't even remember how many screens there are.
It's like 6 screens.
And again, no, Dave. Yeah. No. I must have played a different version. You know what? I'll go right now. There's no way. It's only 6 screens. I'm gonna
the first batch is like 4 or 5. The second batch is like 5 or 6, I think.
Right. So that means there's more than whatever you said.
But like it's okay. This is me knowing the game coming into play, because the only ones that give me trouble are the second screen, the second batch of them.
Dave, I want to say piss off, but you're a pretty good guy, and I'm your friend, and that would be mean. But
but no. See, this is something I wanted to get into when we talk about.
I also want to say. Well, hang on. I'm sorry, Dave. I also want to say again, trial and error. Mm-hmm. I can see myself right now, and I remember how I felt. I didn't even know what the fuck these things were. I was like, what's that? I'm dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's this? I'm dead. Because again, also laser. Mm-hmm. These things are like dead ribbons because they don't just go away. A laser is a light that fucking like goes away after a while. Are you saying this laser is just there forever in this 2D plane forever? There, we're gonna chop me in half. Mega Man, you know what? We're obviously all done with the podcast. I'll just say as a last thing, Mega Man, more like Mega go in the dumpster, right? Thanks, everybody. It's been real.
And Dork's gone. He's left the chat now.
And it's gone. And it's done. Yeah.
But this is something I've thought about when you both were playing Mega Man 2. You know, I've played this game dozens of times. I know it so well. So it's like stuff that is just part of the game to me. I didn't know what parts might be actually difficult for you.
Dave, yes, I totally get what you mean, because that's what's going to happen to me fucking next episode when we get to my next pick. But I totally get what you mean when you my roommate, I've tried to help get into several games, and sometimes like she just can't, because like stuff is second nature to me, or stuff that I've really conditioned myself to get used to. Some people just haven't encountered before, and they like it just is really, really difficult to get through either by themselves or even with help. Like it's, like sometimes stuff just really hits you hard.
In 2008, I got a really good lesson about that when I tried to help my sister play Super Mario Galaxy. Because, I had my Wii and I got the family into Wii bowling and all that. And it was like, hey, this is a console that gets people into video games. It's awesome. I'm going to share it. And I just took for granted that I knew how to move a character in 3D space. Watching her struggle because she'd never done that before. Like, it was just eye-opening. You kind of always have to, I've been playing them. Oh, wait, someone who's never interacted with this before. Yeah, how difficult is this? Because I can't remember what it was like to first play Mario 64. I probably struggled.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that can be really frustrating about it, too, is, like, I remember, like, if you give it to an adult, they just get frustrated because they're like, they're less likely to get like so sucked into like Mario's like kindergarten world and like be super like entrenched in it and want to figure it out, as opposed to just being like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, what the hell, you know what I mean? And
adults have that issue that I suffer from all the time, where if you want to learn to do something, the fact that you're not great right out of the gate kind of destroys your motivation to want to keep going.
Yeah, people get very discouraged when they can't be good at stuff right away. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's funny. I was just watching Jerma stream. I mean, this is an old video, of course, like an old VOD of him like watching infomercials, and there's this one that's advertising computers in like the early 90s or whatever, or maybe even like late 80s, I'm not sure. And it's just hilarious because, you know, that all of them like came with this like tutorial on how to use the mouse, right? Oh, here, yeah. And it's just so funny like watching this, you know. I think it'd be like our age, Dave, or, you know, perhaps closer. It's like 40-year-old woman, and just like watching her try to go through. Okay, and then I do what? I click the. So it's just funny because like I don't remember what it felt like to first move an analog stick. You know, again, as you were saying, you know, handing it to someone who'd never done it before. You know, like with me, it's extreme. It's not even a question. You know, I forget I have my thumb moving. I'm just moving the character, right? Whereas like a person who's never used a control stick, that would I don't even know how that would feel to them.
Yeah, and also something that we don't really ever think about because we bought into the magic of video games. With 3D games, you've got a 3D world you're moving through on a 2D plane being your television, and that's really weird to kind of get to grips with.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I'm. It has to be the input part, because I'm thinking people obviously don't have an issue when it comes to watching a 3D space on a TV show or a 3D space in a movie, but it's because you're controlling it. Yeah, exactly. It's because you're the one in the camera seat, you know?
This is why I remember when New Super Mario Brothers Wii came out, and it like sold 8 times how much Super Mario Galaxy had sold.
Fucking hotcakes, brother. Holy
and it was basically that, you know, 2D Mario always sold infinitesimally more than 3D Mario because your casual gamer understands left and right.
Yeah, I think it also is like a nostalgia factor too.
Oh,
you know, like 2D platformers, like like NES nostalgia was very, and it was the style at the time. But it was also very charming, like with New Super Mario Brothers, and I want to tie this into kind of moving forward because we've been kind of discussing both 1 and 2 a little bit, like we've been jumping between 1 and 2 a little bit. I do kind of want to say, like, you know, New Super Mario Brothers was kind of going back to a simpler, like, head-on style for the characters, which is, like, what you had to do on the NES to communicate, you know, which way your character is facing very quickly. And so I would like to say, obviously Mega Man's sprite doesn't, like, change drastically between all these NES games, but I find the format of character design to be very, very charming in these NES games. Like, they're really, really just simple and nice. And, you know, the characters feel like little action figures, or they feel like little Lego people that kind of have like different template parts like grabbed and like smushed like together. Like, you know, like there's like the Airman type people, or even Woodman just looks like a fat version of like Mega Man. It's like very funny. When they have like the 16 color limits, it's like just very, very fucking charming. And even with its severe limitations, like Mega Man like gets some cool visual ideas across, but then Mega Man 2 just really ramps it up to another level by just having like a lot more custom sprite art for things and a lot more effort put into the presentation. It's just like fantastic. Like, Dave, what do you think about going from 1 back to 2?
Well, again, it's hard because I know 2 so well, but I will say one of the things I love about 2, because I thought that maybe you'd both like to know, you know, have me explain why Mega Man 2 is one of my favorite games. And so I was trying to think of, you know, actually articulating that. And one of the reasons is the art, actually. I am a sucker in NES games for giant sprites. And Mega Man 2 uses giant sprites in such beautiful ways, like I'm thinking the wolf in Woodman stage, or the anglerfish in Bubbleman stage, and then of course there's the first boss of the Wily stages, the dragon. When that thing shows up, it's just like, oh my god, what is this?
God, yeah.
It's so I just love how those sprites look. I think the design of them is actually reflected in a lot of Mega Man 2. Like every stage in Mega Man 2 has unique enemies that move in interesting ways and look really nice. That was actually something that really shit me about Mega Man 3, is that most stages did not have many unique enemies, and they kept on using the same ones over and over again. It just smacked like they were on a big deadline, or they had to really push out this sequel. I think you mentioned that this really smelt like a we got to get it out for Christmas type game.
Yeah.
Going from 2 to 3 in terms of the variety of enemy design and the colors, and even I think the Robot Masters in 3 look terrible compared to the Robot Masters of 2. There's just something about well, I know, Dork, you don't like the designs of any of them.
No, I can totally see what you're saying, but it's just kind of funny to me because I mean they all look so similar to me because I've played them all at once and I don't have any like reverence for any of them. So for me, it's like, you know, they all look like NES sprites, all right. But hang on, I totally think you're right though, because I have to admit, Heatman, is he in Mega Man 2? Is he like the coffin guy?
Yeah, he's the guy who's the lighter, basically.
He and like Logman, I remember those. I can see those guys so fucking easily in my head. Whereas like I don't think I could tell. I think maybe like you know, Gemini Man, because he does the cool little I'm a running the loop thing. But besides that,
because he's gay. Yeah.
I don't know if I could tell you any of the bosses from Mega Man 3. I mean, trying to look
well,
for my footage.
Here's what I would
Man,
say
he's got a
is
fucking snake on his head. That's sick.
Snake Man, Top Man, Gemini Man, Needle Man,
Needle Man, nope.
Hard Man,
Magnet Man.
Magnet Man. Yeah, because here's the thing
Man, that's just
here's the thing that's here's what I would respond to you with, Dave. Let me respond to Dave. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
sorry. I make jokes and Dave laughs.
It's simple. I make jokes. Dave laughs.
All right, I'm sorry, Drew. Go on.
No, you're good. I would say 2 is a huge step up in terms of like the backgrounds for stages, but I think 3 is honestly even better. Right? Like you go into Top Man stage and it's like an overgrowing like greenhouse kind of stage, and you're like, what the fuck? It like really sticks out in my fucking head.
Oh, I'd also say
like
Snake Man's like it's all scaly and shit. Like I think honestly, like Snake Man stage, I'm watching it now. I think this looks pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. The problem is actually with the Robot Masters themselves, right? Because in 2, it's very clear to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I could kind of like make a path, like just looking at the select screen and like taking a guess. Whereas you get to Mega Man 3 and you're like, who the fuck is supposed to be weak to Snake? What the fuck is who's weak to a snake? Do you bite them with a snake? Who the fuck is gonna be
Liquid?
What the fuck is Gemini Man supposed to be weak to and against? You know, like what the fuck is that?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Or
is
like
he gay?
Eccentric Man. He's eccentric. What does that mean?
Yeah, literally.
Like Hard Man is weak to magnet missile. So Hard is weak to magnet? How does that work?
Well, I almost think that they tried to do like Hard Man is like, this is just metal, but a little different. You know, it's like, oh, I guess, but why?
It doesn't, it's like the designs are great, but it doesn't lend itself well to like gameplay utility. Yeah.
All right, I have to say it.
Oh?
MGS2 Robot Monsters are Foxhound. MGS3 Robot Monsters are Dead Cell.
Oh, that's amazing.
Good heavens. Actually true, though. Actually true. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we played MGS2 first, Dave.
Oh
this works perfectly.
Man, I can't even express how amazing that is.
Now, you know, okay, so like we're obviously, I actually kind of like how we're doing this because we're kind of going like 1 and 2 and now like 2 and 3, which is cool. But I have to say, I forget, does the Yellow Devil appear in 2?
No.
No.
He doesn't. Interesting.
That's why when it comes back in 3, it's like a holy shit moment, because I think I'm not alone in this, but the Yellow Devil fight can go fuck itself. And
it is so difficult.
And if Mega Man 1, if that game did not have the pause trick, I don't know what the fuck I'd do.
Yeah, seriously.
True.
Holy shit.
So let me just tell the listeners or watchers, there is Electric Man's weapon is like you shoot a giant beam of electricity, but not only forward, but up and down as well, which is great for the Wily boss at the end. But there's a thing where it's the only game with an actual pause as well. You press start and you go to the menu screen where you can select your weapon, but you can also press select and you can pause the game. So there's some weird quirk in the programming where if you pause when an enemy's being hit or when you're being hit and then unpause, the game will register that as a new hit. So there's a trick with the electric blade is if you pause the game right when the electric zapper hits something and then keep unpausing and pausing really fast, the electricity will fucking destroy whatever enemy that is because it keeps getting hit every time you unpause the game as it's passing through.
Yeah, I was told that by Drew. Huge shout out to Drew. I don't know if I would have. I'm sure I would have to like look up a long play because I was just like, because even with that trick, you have to dodge all of the "here I come" attacks. And I was saying, if this game just had a duck, just let me duck, and I would be. I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm pretty good at games, right? If you gave me a duck. Not an animal. I just realized if you let me crouch, I think I would be way, 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 way better at this game. Because there's a lot of attacks where I'm thinking, down, shit, I got hit. And I have to rewind and go, I have to jump this. And he has, his bottom one and his his like mid-sized one that'll hit your shoulder. You have to jump. You have to jump both of those.
Yeah, sorry, Dirk. I'll just explain for the listeners as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the footage. But the Yellow Devil is a giant yellow, I'd guess, rock monster that moves across the stage by breaking apart small pieces of itself. And that small piece will fly across the level and reform on the other side. And it does it on multiple levels. So most of them, you can just stand there because they go over your head. But there are two... there's a bottom level and there's the next level where you have to jump over them. Now, this is why I actually really liked the Yellow Devil fight in Mega Man 3 because that game gives you a slide and I found it really fun to try and dodge.
I agree.
Except when it did the bouncy thing. That got a little more annoying because the hitboxes in Mega Man 3 fucking suck. But sliding under the things and jumping over things and watching which one was next, like that was great. The only thing that sucked about that fight was trying to hit its eye with a hard knuckle. Because the hard knuckle has this delay on firing that always fucks me up when I try and hit things with it. You press attack, a fist appears, and then it kind of starts to go vroom, and then it shoots very slowly as to whatever you want to hit. And when you have an enemy that is only able to be attacked when it opens its eye, and you're trying to aim the hard knuckle at that, oh my god, it sucks so much.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it's like it has such a small window. Because like if you were to have like a ratio of like time where it's invulnerable and is trying to hit you versus time where it is vulnerable and it's your turn to attack.
Yep.
It is it's got to be like 50 to no, I wouldn't get that far. Like 30 to 1, I'd say. Like it's a crazy disparity.
In that fight, I rewound a lot. My rewinds were not trying to dodge him. The rewinds were trying to get the hard knuckle to hit his eye.
Really? Interesting. Drew, how did... Because I know like you're the one who told me about the electric trick. How did you get through Yellow Devil? Like did you happen to know it already?
I knew the trick. I had to, because of growing up watching all these YouTube videos and so all these like 30-year-olds or fucking whatever, like, yeah, if I didn't have the classic Mega Man electricity glitch, I couldn't do it. And so I like knew how it looked, so I just kind of like tried to figure out like how to do it on my controller real quick, and then I figured it out.
That's awesome. That's cool how you had this like Mega Man, prelude in your head where like you've seen this game played. I don't think I've seen this played besides in passing, for like a different point or an essayist what was making or something. Because I don't know. But I will say, though, along with what Drew said a long time ago, I know it's a strange place to bring it up, but Dave, I do appreciate you having us play these, because it is cool to play these classic games and be like, good, I'm glad it's a classic in the sense where you don't want to play them, but you're happy you have played them. So I appreciate it.
You know, when I got my Kindle in 2012, I had the exact same feeling. I used the cheap availability of ebooks to read all these classics that I've always wanted to check out. And for that year, I read through about, I'd say 10 classics. And I think I hated 9 of them. But I am happy I read them.
Yeah, you probably read, Atlas Shrugged for sure, right?
No,
And,
no, God, no.
Moby Dick.
Yeah, Moby Dick was the first one.
So dry, so dry.
I guess you could say enjoying Moby Dick was your white whale.
It's ironic that it's such a dry book when it's all about whaling on the ocean.
So you could say reading Moby Dick is like drinking salt water.
Ugh.
So you could say that Yellow Devil... No, hang on. So you could say that Moby Dick... So you could say...
You're almost there. You're almost there.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Sorry, the failed attempts just got to me.
That's great. So after Yellow Devil, we have this...
Oh my God.
This Willy guy, honestly,
this
I don't
repeats
think...
between. Can I say this is like a trope in all the Mega Man games? Is that there's like a boss where it spawns like 8 of them and they just keep getting faster. Like there's differences between all of them, but this is a trope in all 3 games.
I guess I'm not sure what you're talking about right now.
We're talking about the bubble monster thing, right?
Oh, Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So in like Wily's Castle, there's a whole bunch of like unique encounters, which I totally forgot about. Thank you. Yeah. There's like the bubble dude.
In Mega Man 2, it was like they were just like pieces of the wall that formed together. And then in Mega Man 3, I think it was the same thing. No. It was a water
turtle things.
Yes.
Which I hated because it didn't make any sense to me why killing the turtles would hurt the robot, dispensing them. It didn't make any sense to me.
No, that was weird.
And also, this game is obsessed with doppelganger fights, because even in the first game, they have a real doppelganger fight, and I kind of liked it because it has like almost like a disco screen behind you. But dude, there's so much of that going on, up to the point where in 3 they're just like, let's just make a Proto Man, I guess, and just have you fight him a bunch of times. Who looks like fucking dead to rights an NES version of Beautiful Joe, by the way. Every time I saw him, I'm like, that's Beautiful Joe right there.
Which another Capcom game.
Yeah, I'm sure Beautiful Joe is both a reference to Proto Man and Cut Man, yeah.
Has to be, 100%.
And then Wonder Red is a reference to Beautiful Joe because it's a Kamiya game.
Yeah. Dude, is it?
Yeah.
No, for real though. Like, aren't like video games like so cool like that? Where like
video games fucking
again,
rock,
you can't really do this in other mediums without it being too obvious. Whereas you could do it in video games all the time, and it's like only people who know, and that's all you need.
Yeah, it fucking rocks. Yeah.
Which is what the series is called in Japan.
Wait a minute.
Which I think is hilarious because in Mega Man 4 they have an intro where he's like, so his name was Rock or whatever, and then it's like, but then he was transformed into Mega Man. Like, oh, okay. It's almost like doing like a Biohazard thing with RE7. Like, let's include the original thing in a way. It's like, sure, whatever.
Which is why his sister is named Roll, and in Mega Man 7, there's a character introduced who's called Bass or Bass.
What the fuck?
This is like Piccolo naming his minions. I'll name him Piano. Ah, yes, Lord, you do love your musical instrument names. Fucking weirdo Dragon Ball.
I have to wonder what Proto Man's Japanese game is. Let me go Jamie mode real quick.
No. Proto Man is the Japanese version. He's called Breakman in the US. If you saw when you had to fight him after the remix stages, his name was Breakman, even though Dr. Light calls him Proto Man in the ending.
True. I have to say, so even though, honestly, guys, we're kind of all over the place.
I'm sorry, Dork. No, okay. I meant not the Breakman alias, but in Japan, his name is Blues.
Ah.
Very big music motif, so I kind of fucking dig it.
Of course you would, Drew. Get out of here. You're like
I'm the only
music person.
I'm the only person who cares about music. It's true.
You're the only person who doesn't play bass in this podcast group who loves music.
True.
There's plenty of bass in Drew's album.
Anyway,
that was my brother.
I was gonna say
all this stuff is electronic.
Proto Man, even though the story of Mega Man 3 is weird as shit, because they don't have any cutscenes until like the end, and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? I will say, through gameplay, I actually felt it, because you have this fight with Proto Man a ton of times, and it's like, okay, and then in like the Gemini stage, I forget exactly which stage, he comes down. And then he opens the path for you, and then he looks at you, and he just leaves. I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. You know, he's acting differently now. Maybe he's on my side.
And
also, he had the little whistle thing with him. It was cool. It was almost like the thing the Green Ranger had to do in Power Rangers, like almost like to summon his like Megazord thing. Have you guys seen that? Are you laughing at me, Dave?
Sure.
Why?
Because you're so goddamn funny.
You don't like Power Rangers?
I watched it when I was younger. I don't remember anything about it.
I don't know anything about Power Rangers. I'm sorry.
All right, Dave, what do you have to say? Go ahead.
Well, yeah. The thing about Proto Man is, I can't remember when I keyed into this. It's like very early game critic brain going on, but I remember very early on clocking that, all he's here is to teach you how to use the slide.
Kinda. I mean, I still think... Listen, you can use the excuse that you have a slide all you want. Every enemy just fucking hopping on a pogo stick constantly is so freaking annoying in Mega Man 3.
No, I don't disagree, but Proto Man especially, because if you don't jump, he can't hit you except if the level's uneven. If you're on an even plane, he always shoots when he jumps. So all you're meant to do is slide under him and keep firing.
I guess I'm a fucking idiot. Because I would always get hit with him, and I'd be like, just tank the hits, man, just tank the hits.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry, Dave, I'm not good at games. I'm a bad gamer.
Weren't you just bragging about your Cuphead prowess just like half an hour ago? Oh, it's like
you opened my eyes and you said, Dork, that's a different game. And the whole world has been open for me. I now understand the different game. I now understand your point of view with different game.
It's all I could ask for. But returning to Wily's Castle, another trope that every game has right before the Wily fight is you have to fight every Robot Master again. But this time, you have your full arsenal. So it's more of a fun... Yeah, just get through them.
Yeah, just
genuinely.
I will say, in Mega Man 1, it sucks. Like, it's not really that enjoyable. But in 2 and 3, I came to really, really enjoy it. It was actually a pretty good time.
And they give you health when you beat them in 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's a lot more free. Like, they got rid of the point balls. You actually fucking can survive.
As you know, I don't really like these games, and I kind of wanted my time with them to be done. But I will say, even though I kind of groaned when I first saw, I think I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember I typed in Discord, I'm like, you kidding me? This game ain't done after this? Great idea, because you're not going to have, it's literally impossible, right? Because every boss has a few weaknesses, right? I think, right?
Well, every boss has multiple weaknesses, except for, I think, Mega Man 3. They really nerfed the main weapon in that game.
Well, I just think it's almost impossible for a player to have used every weakness on every boss. So I think it's fun to be like, now that you have everything, see how this fight feels when you use the right thing on him, which is really cool on its own. But also, this game is so short. I really think it benefited from it, because I like boss fights. I like, boss rushes. And, like, would we say this is one of the earlier instances of a boss rush in a game?
Yeah.
Of like a home console game?
I'm just trying to think in my head, because I'm sure there are probably NES games that did it before, but, like, are they games that people have played?
Really? I would think in 87, like, it seems pretty early on still in terms of all of, like, gaming history.
Yeah, it seemed like, you know what it really feels like? It feels like a bullshit arcade trope. Like, oh, they spent a lot of money. They think they're at the end of the game. Let's have a boss rush. But I don't know that for certain. It just feels like that's something a developer would do.
I know that the Gauntlet games didn't do that. Then again, I'm pretty sure anyway. That's the only arcade game I really got through in the home release. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but
I know Pac-Man doesn't have any bosses.
Does the Donkey Kong kill screen count?
I'm sorry, what?
Never mind.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm a failure today. I'm so bad at games, guys. I'm so bad at games. Well, okay, without Drew to bounce off, this just sounds sad, all right? I'm just fucking with everyone, all right? Drew, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just like, what do I even say? What do I even say when my friend is putting himself down? What do I even say?
You say yes and, right? Wait, no, actually.
Yes,
no,
you
suck. Wait.
And, yes, and I will have your Cuphead data deleted from your PC and your PlayStation 5 and your Nintendo Switch.
I'll just do it again. It's fun. It's really fun.
And, we haven't touched on it yet. And each game, it's been a bit different, but they're always really weird. I definitely want to bring up the Dr. Wily fights.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is unexpected. I didn't think you were going to bring these up.
Guys, can I just say I do really like Wily as like a recurring antagonist, but because I just like okay, look. So who else? We have like we have fucking Bowser, we have like Dr. Eggman, right? As like our platforming bad guys.
He reminds me of the Sonic guy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like those guys, like Wily's whole thing is that he begs for remorse. And then he is evil in the next game, which is like hilarious because Bowser's just like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't care. Like he's just always like, fuck you. And he's going to be back. And Eggman did kind of start begging for remorse. Kind of, I guess. Did he? I guess it depends. Sonic games can be a little bit more plot driven. So I guess it just kind of depends. But in the early days, he was very much just like, yeah, I'm back again. I'm just back again. Whereas Wily always begs for forgiveness, and then he's like back the next time. So it's just like hilarious to me.
And you've just reminded me, we haven't touched, I mean, we'll do so a little later in 2 and 3, but we haven't touched on the story. And the story of Mega Man 1 is basically told in the manual like so many NES games. But the bit that always makes me laugh, so Dr. Light and Dr. Wily were colleagues, although Dr. Light was the genius who basically did all the work from what I can gather. Because what happens in the first game is Dr. Light, he does make Mega Man and roll, but he also makes 6 robots that are apparently all for a specific purpose of bettering society. And then Wily takes those 6 robots and tries to take over the world. And so you have Gutsman, Cutman, Electman, Iceman, Fireman, and Bombman. Now, if you go in the manual, like, okay, Bombman's for like, construction disposal. It all makes sense. But on its surface, that is bananas.
Yes.
It's bananas,
I remember like many scientists go, I'm going to help the world by creating some bombs.
Or Cutman. I mean, okay, he's a logging... I
love me cutting down trees, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
He's a logging robot, but still, he's got like a giant Pac-Man on his head, and he shoots Pac-Man. And it's like, what?
Pac-Man?
What are we doing here?
I mean, listen, Dave, he's a giant scissors from what I can tell. And he cuts the logs, he's a log cutter.
Yeah, look, it's all tenuous, but I just find it kind of ridiculous, especially because in Mega Man 2 and 3, Wily starts making his own robots. Also, he apparently has time to construct a really cool castle each time. That gets better each game.
Yeah. Just like the Death Star. It's like Star Wars.
Well, I mean, look, you never really start off with your best castle. Let's just say that.
It's just like making YouTube videos where you just gotta kind of start. You're probably gonna make slop. You just gotta get through it. You know, like your second iteration will be better. And here are the tracks.
Yeah, Wiley is like a YouTuber because he started off imitating somebody else's work, and then he started making his own shit. Yeah.
And it's such a little interaction, little piece of animation, but I love that the intro to every Wily castle is him zooming up in his weird UFO. The top opens up, and then he wiggles his eyebrows, which is like a 2-frame animation. And then
hilarious.
he zooms off to his castle. The music's like do 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 do. And then when you go to the first level, it's like boop. So all these sound effects are lodged deep in my brain.
Dude, yes, true. So true, King. That's fucking awesome. Dude, Mega Man rocks.
So the Wily only has one phase in the first game. He's in one of his weird robot contraptions. It looks like a giant, I guess it's supposed to be some kind of flying machine.
Actually, Dave, his little visor, like windshield thing gets broken. That's a phase. That's a phase on its own. There's 2 phases here. One where you can see them and one where you don't.
Man, like
Mega.
Yeah, it's Mega.
Rock. Okay. Yeah. I
was
use
that, Dork?
rock. Yeah. I use the. I use the trick, the pause trick on this bad boy.
I chose to not use that just because I don't know. It didn't work. Like, it worked on Yellow Devil. I couldn't get it to work on Wily, so I just went underneath him and shot up with the electric beam.
Oh, actually, yeah. He actually has different attacks too, Dave. It is a real second phase.
Wow.
You just love Mega Man 2 so much. You're like, listen, Mega Man 1 has like a tenth of like the memory space that you have for Mega Man 2.
well, also, I played Mega Man 2 so many times. I played 1 and 3 maybe twice or 3 times in my life, maybe.
Wow. That's cool. You seem to really, really respect and like Mega Man 2. And what I would love to know, Drew, how did you get through those flame trap things?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You like that segue?
I do.
Well, I'll tell you, it was definitely luck. But I just kind of went for it, and I like hopped between it, so I had like some horizontal momentum, and then I just happened to not get hit both times.
So the strat is happen to not get hit.
The strat is pray, yeah.
I tried so many different, like, okay, I'm gonna move when the fire is here. Nope, rewind. Okay, I'm gonna move when the fire is here. Nope, rewind. And eventually I just tanked it.
I just think it's because I'm notoriously bad when it comes to like timing stuff in platformers. I tell you, I love Crash Bandicoot, but oh my god, like there's one specific stage where, in fact, Dave, you might remember this, where like the scientists have like the sparky gloves, and you have to like jump over a platform at the right time where like the scientists' gloves aren't electric.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the level, there's like electric traps, a trap door you have to activate, and then you have to time out. I hate doing that in games. I can't ever follow it. So this was just like that, but it's like they took, the
slack out of it.
I really, no, I was going to say some kind of like injection. I couldn't think of anything funny, so I apologize. They took the Haran. I have Dying Light on my brain, so I was going to go with the Haran virus, but I don't think you guys want to reference. Oh wait, we did Dying Light in this podcast. That would be a good reference. We love Dying Light.
No, it's still a bad reference because we don't like Dying Light.
It's a great podcast, though. You should go back and listen to it again.
That's our most popular one, Dave. I think that one's got enough views.
True. Listen to all the others first.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. Listen to our MGS2 one, man.
That's so good. But it's like for things like that, it feels like again, no forgiveness. All the slack, all the ability to fail and still make it through has been taken out.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I wanted to ask you as well, Dave. You like Mega Man 2 a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we've already talked about the art. I think Mega Man has a lot smoother movement. His jumps are better. I find jumping and shooting is a lot more enjoyable. I find the level design of that game, I just love it. Especially because Mega Man 2 is one of those games where, if you have the right tools, the game is a complete joke. And I do really like that type of design. I was saying as we were playing it on the Discord that some of the fights were over so quickly that I wanted to maybe try it on difficult mode just to maybe make them last a little longer. But that was just because I love the game so much. I like the idea that, if you're using the right weapon, they will just get obliterated. But the thing about Mega Man 2 is even if you're not using the right weapon, you can pretty much obliterate them with the main weapon, which I also like, but I can see how, it makes things maybe a little too easy. I think the problem is when Mega Man 2 decides to spike its difficulty, it spikes it really hard. There's the Quick Man lasers, there's Heat Man's disappearing blocks, there's the turret boss, and
the turret boss.
Yep. I think, even running from the dragon, if you don't land on those platforms right, you're gone. I mean, that's a very do it right or die moment. Even though I find it easy to deal with, Crash Man stage when you're trying to climb up the ladders and the birds are dropping the eggs, that can be really nerve-wracking. Of course.
Oh, the eggs.
Yeah.
I hate those enemies so much.
Yeah, they're one of the most annoying enemies in Mega Man, and that is saying something. But the big strat for Mega Man 2 is you do Metal Man stage first, so you get the metal blades, and then you just have the metal blades equipped 90% of the game, because they fire in 8 directions, they go across the whole screen, they kill almost everything quickly, and they take almost no ammo to use. Like, you can fire 5 of them and it will tick off one of those.
That's a really good point that you brought up. And again, I don't want to have to keep doing, like, if this game had like this mechanic, I'd have a better time. Because, of course, right. But I have to say, I realize you can't give it twin stick aiming or anything like that. But, it is weird that, the metal blade things can shoot up and, even diagonally. I was even thinking if I could just shoot up sometimes, I would just have so much. Because, like, you have to really position yourself. And there's a bunch of stages where, like, in like Bubble Man stage, it's like his gimmick because, of course, like, you jump so much higher in that one, right? But if you just have your toe touch a spike, you instantly die.
That's the infamous hitboxes. Actually,
what the fuck?
Now that you bring it up, why does water make you jump higher? Because there's more pressure. You'd think it would keep you down, and he's metal. He's not going to be buoyant.
No, Dave, he's Mega.
Well, okay, well, there you go.
That's a good point, though. In fact, especially if he's supposed to be Rock Man. I'm not a scientist, but I think rocks are notorious for their sinking capabilities.
Ask the scientician.
Ask Dr. Wily. He might know.
Yeah, he's good at creating the science. Dr. Light seemed to just have... He was good at the start when he created his robots at the beginning, and then he created nothing else. Well, I guess he created Rush.
I love the wording after you get a new weapon. This is really random, but it's funny, like in 2, get equipped with bubble lead. Like, what? Just
and how it got that...
Yeah, the music is pretty good in this series, I have to say. I don't usually like the NES chiptune thing. I think overall, if I hear like an NES song, it's like, that's on the NES, of course. But there were a few standouts, but I'm not the music person here. I think we should ask the music person, Drewdoodle.
Oh, yeah, why not? Let's talk music.
Right. Yeah, right out the gate, Mega Man 1 even has a pretty good soundtrack. Mega Man 2 and 3 I'm a little mixed on, but both 2 and 3 have like fantastic soundtracks overall, I would say. But even out the gate, Mega Man 1 even still has a pretty distinct style, and I would even say it comes across as very much, of course it's chiptune, but it's very much drawing from like, it truly feels like it wants to be like a rock and roll song that's like played by a band all together, right? Like you get those bass patterns, and then whatever's leading you can totally see being some sort of like organ or synth or higher guitar. Just like the melodies always feel totally like some kind of like band, like just playing music together, and it's just like really, really fucking cool and fun and uplifting at times, but very like tense. I wouldn't say it nails it all the time. I think the boss music in 1 is a fucking stinker. That song fucking stinks. But, you know, Mega Man 1, it's got classics. It's got, like, Elect Man Stage. I like Cut Man Stage. Iceman Stage is pretty great. You know, and then Mega Man 2 just really ups the ante with the fucking...
Drew, I gotta say, I mean, I really, really, really like the Yellow Devil song in Mega Man 1. I love how that just goes nuts. It's the same song that plays like in the Wily Fight 2. I couldn't even sing it for you because like the notes are so fast.
Oh, that's different. I'm talking about the regular boss theme. That one stinks. It's the regular Robot Master boss that stinks. The Wily Battle...
What,
yeah, no, you're good.
Did cool. Because I can hardly remember anything about number 1's music. Was the was the boss battle music the same as it was in 2?
I don't think so. I think they're different ones.
I'll listen to it right now, Dave. Hang on, give me a second.
Okay.
Okay, hang on.
Oh no, they're different. Yeah, because in 2 it's got the whole like. Yeah. In Mega Man 1, it's just those crazy fast arpeggios, which I do agree. That's very enjoyable to listen to.
Oh, no, I was going to agree with you now that I've heard it just now. I think that sounds like ass. I think the only one that sounds really good is like the Yellow Devil. In fact, I think I typed it in chat. Man, like the Yellow Devil song is so good. I want to hear it like on actual instruments. It's so... It seems head and shoulders above the rest of the boss fights. Like, this just sounds like amateur hour to me.
You think?
It's like, I mean, again, I don't know as much about music, but to me, it just kind of all blurs together. Whereas, like, the actual, like, Yellow Devil fight, it feels really tense and climactic.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. I could totally see that. Okay. I mean, then again, these are my first time like really experiencing these, so it's not like I have like fully formed opinions on them like over the years, right? Like when we get to the soundtracks that I'm like more familiar with, and like my shit is like set in stone, you know what I mean? Whereas this is like my first exposure to a lot of these. Yeah, like freaking Mario Kart. Good heavens, does nobody else have the right opinion about Mario Kart music? Oh my god.
But
Mega Man 2, Dave, what are some of your favorite tracks? Because this is like one of your favorite games. I want to know like what your favorite tracks are.
So, yeah, because it is that thing where, repetition breeds familiarity. And the more, if you like a game soundtrack, the more you listen to it or the more you play the game, the more it kind of just ingrains in you. And I don't think there are any stinkers in Mega Man 2's. Actually, no, let me amend that. This time around, I don't ever remember it happening before, but Quick Man Stage, I was playing with my headphones, and there are some high notes in that song that really hurt me. None of the other tracks had them.
Yeah, like that percussive sound. It's like... Yeah, it's the NES, so...
Yeah, but like no other track in this game did that, and I can't. And I don't remember that ever happening. Go ahead.
Sorry, I think what I'm trying to say is like the thing is like normally I'm like let's have some weird percussion, but that's the thing in a more current title. you can actually mix the music. Whereas on the NES, you just straight up can't, because you have 4 fucking audio channels, and that's like and that like overlaps with all the sound effects and everything. So it's like, yeah, these sounds are very, very uncomfortable to listen to.
It's also like, you talked about them wanting to be rock songs. The orchestrations of some of them on the hardware is, I think that's also why NES music is so iconic, because the good stuff, just, they were able to do things with melody and those sounds that just resonate. They are simple, but they're so catchy when it works. And that segues in. My favorite song in Mega Man 2 is Crash Man Stage. The
So true. Yeah, it's so just joyous.
And then yeah, I love that one. Obviously, like an all-timer, like fans just love this, is the first Wily stage. Yeah,
that's straight up a rock band song. Like, you can just hear everybody like playing together. It's incredible.
Yeah, that one's really good. I really like Heat Man's stage. That song. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of Mega Man. That's in the next game. I really love that track. It's really funny. This past week, I was trying to recall songs I really liked, and for some reason, my brain could never tell me what Mega Man's music was, even though it's one of my favorite pieces of video game music on the NES. And it would always just keep giving me Heat Man Stage, and now I'm like, I like Heat Man Stage, and my brain instantly started playing the Mega Man song.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, Heat Man's good. Yeah, Bubble Man is very chill and relaxing. Yeah, God, I'd have to play these to know them, but it's one of those things where I play them, I would know them instantly, because, I played the game so many times, but it's like the ones that stand out, are Crash Man and Wily Stage 1.
Yeah, and then even going into Mega Man 3, just like, yeah, you have a lot of great stuff. Like, Gemini Man's stage theme is pretty good. It's got like some nice shifty attitude to it.
Ooh, me.
Yeah, Dork, go ahead.
Honestly, my genuine second favorite song of this whole 3-game series is in Mega Man 3. Honestly, Shadow Man's song is just amazing.
I remember really liking that one too. Let me give myself a refresher.
It has these like chicka 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 every now and then. Boom 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 boom. Bam bam bam.
Yeah, I really like the percussion in that one.
It reminds me of Gunhouse, which has a really cool soundtrack I liked a lot too. It has really cool like percussion stuff, and it's just such a fun little, goofy little, like it's almost like a wind-up toy, and you're like, all right, off you go. And
it feels like somebody fucking like wagging their finger at you. It's fucking funny. Yeah. I remember really liking, let me refresh myself, but I remember really liking Sparkman's stage music as well.
Yeah, Sparkman. Snake Man. And Needle Man, I think I like. I think Top Man, maybe.
Top Man has like some weird like circus energy in the beginning. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Sparkman's stage I fucking love. It's very, very like somber and almost like urgent, which is, I don't know, for a regular stage, it's like you don't need it, but it's like pretty enjoyable for what it is. I like it.
So when I last listened to the Mega Man music, I read the comments, and so many people were going, "Why is this music so happy for like a Mega Man stage?"
Because it's nice. What do you mean? Why is it so happy? Get some joy and whimsy in your life, please.
Yeah, true.
I actually think I like I know this is almost heresy, right? Because we all don't like Mega Man 3 much, but I also think I like the boss themes from Mega Man 3 the most too. Or at the very least, I like how it starts. Sounds cool.
Oh yeah, that's nice. And
in fact, I think that's what it is. I think I like the intro a lot.
It's pretty iconic, I can't lie. And also, can we talk about the jingle in Mega Man 1 and 2 when you start a stage? It's like, that's like, holy shit, I'm gonna remember that forever. Like, that's a stage setter, you know?
What's it sound like?
Like,
Actually, you're totally right.
Yeah,
that sounds fucking amazing. You're right. That's a banging
like,
jingle.
Holy shit, we're about to play a Mega Man stage. Goddamn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody sit your white asses down. We're about to play a Mega Man stage. And then, of course, we can't forget in Mega Man 3, do you know what fucking what song fucking defines the whole thing? Blah, 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 blah.
Let's see.
Awesome.
Let's see if I can do this and avoid destroying the audio.
You got it.
No, I can't whistle that high.
Oh, you were so close, though.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No chance.
It's really nice.
Is it just how like the NES, like chiptune thing like sounds? It almost sounds like it's like a wavy, like sound. Like it isn't like a here's a note. It's almost like a wispy thing. Yeah,
I think that would have been just one of the sound channels, of course. I think that would have been, it's either a sine or a square wave that's just like really high pitched, yeah.
I did have to use an audio program and use waves to create my own sound effects for a uni project once. And cool. that was interesting.
Yeah, making sound effects is super, super interesting.
Yeah, you had an awesome sound effect for like your little text dialogue in your game.
Yeah, I'm shocked at like that. It's like actually like a tenth of a second, and I still had to fucking like to get it to sound right. I had to like fade. I had to do like crossfades at like the very beginning and very end just to get it to like not sound as harsh for like something that plays for like a tenth of a second. It's like insane.
Yeah, the amount of work that goes into this stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I'd imagine because it has to play with every, like word or every like letter or something, it adds up,
Yeah, exactly.
Like all the harshness you tried to remove, having the harshness.
Yeah, that's why the crossfades were like really, really helpful, and I had to make it like a little less bassy than when like I initially made it, just because it repeats so much. So it's like you definitely want all the layers there, but just like at a very like comfortable volume.
That's crazy. How much time would you say like you spent on that fraction of a second sound?
Between like making it and then exporting it and then bringing it into the game and then testing it, I would probably say it took me like a half hour, and that's for like one little sound effect that like repeats a bunch.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, how
adds up.
How much time do you spend on like a particular edit that you want to get just right for one part of your videos?
Oh Jesus, yeah, absolutely.
2 seconds at most. I hate putting time into my work.
This is the only one with a fucking Patreon on record. Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh no! Wait, Dave, I apologize. I meant like the only one making like money from doing videos. Yeah,
the only one supporting themselves off being a game critic.
Yes. I apologize.
But I think because we're fading because we're talking about Drew's game. Let's do some. I just want to get some rapid opinions about like the Wily stages and then the final bosses and story, like how the games end in both 2 and 3. Sound good?
Sure. Yeah.
So, anything more to say about the dragon?
What is the dragon again?
Wily Stage 1, you start jumping on these blocks, and suddenly a
is that
giant...
Mega Man 2?
Yep, fire-breathing dragon appears and starts chasing you, and then suddenly the blocks run out, and you have to
Is that
avoid
before the turret?
It's the first stage.
Okay, give me a half a second.
Yeah, no worries. Actually, let me ask a different question while you're looking up. What did you think about the Wily stages in 2, especially having you use the item so much?
Oh, actually, I have an opinion about that because I had to ask Drew, what am I supposed to do? I never used any of those the entire game.
Ah.
So I didn't even know they were a thing until I had to use it. So I even said to Drew, like, I wonder if I would have had an easier time in this game if I used these.
I think that's why in 3 they made sure to create rush. It's like, we're going to give you a dog companion that can do the stuff that the ones in 2 can do, and maybe then the player will be more... But 3 also had a lot more use cases for it.
Yeah, I will say, even though like we kind of like dunk on 3, I do think it was the right call to make him like, it just... He was used a lot more, and even though it was kind of annoying... Oh! You remind... I'm so glad. Okay. Dave, how could I not bring this up? This game had to have given some kids seizures.
Oh.
The flashing on the screen. In fact, I'm going to have to edit it on the video portion so it doesn't do this. The flashing after you defeat specifically the pre-Wily bosses. Like the dragon, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
That is insane. It's like the Simpsons episode where they all have the seizures. It looks like that. It looks like that.
Yeah, games back then didn't care at all about that shit.
No.
Yeah, it was a very, very common NES problem, absolutely.
Oh, it's so harsh, and it lasts so long.
Can I even say, even playing fucking Earthbound, like the final boss was really intense to get through because of like flashing effects. So that was just something the industry like just hadn't fucking figured out yet. Like they just did not give a shit. Like it was insane.
It just did not give a shit. Yeah, I suppose that's all I had on the dragon. Just the crazy reminder that it's like, oh my gosh, it hurt my eyes.
Yeah, fair. Okay, what about they bring Gutsman back, and he's like mounted to a giant tread. So it's called the Guts Dozer, and just like the dragon, you fire some quick boomerangs at him, and he's dead. So it's like, okay.
Sheesh.
Yeah, the whole like treadmill thing was cool, right? It's that one, right?
Yeah, he's like on a giant, let me try and find it. That's the one where you just have to shoot the things when they attach together.
Oh, this thing. Yeah, no, it's like a huge, like, tank thing, right?
Yeah, and, I'm playing the Guts Dozer right now, and holy shit, you're right about the flashing. In fact, let me just screenshot this and put it in chat, because I paused on a flash so you can see what they actually do.
They're like negative all the
it's negative,
all the sprites, right? Yeah. They really want it's cool looking when it's only one frame, but when it's they put some effort into this.
and look,
wild.
The tank said LPTIZ, or maybe that's Sue.
Oh, they predicted 9/11 is what you're saying.
Inafune is not Kojima.
Yeah, he's pretty close,
Definitely
though. He's got a pretty darn good track record. Don't say the number 9 again, please.
His track record has me crying like an anime nerd on prom night.
Oh, I did want to bring up the next stage, because it's probably something you both didn't know about, and I only found out about it, after I played the game dozens of times. Yeah. How it's a level with invisible floor that you can fall through. And the way you find out where to jump is you use the bubble lead, because the bubble lead travels along the floor, and if it hits a wall or anything, it follows that. So you use that to find out where to jump, but otherwise it's just like, oh, you killed me. Thanks, game.
It's so interesting because, nowadays, or even SNES or N64, you would make that thing a little bit different looking, almost no matter what, I would think, every game, even if it had a cool little tactic to get through it, it would look a little different. So I was just like, man, in the NES era, they pulled no punches, it looks exactly the same.
And this is the level that ends with the, turret boss, but also, this is the level where you had to stand on the platform as it went along all the tracks.
I love that section. Yeah.
You had to shoot the little spitting guys as they came out of their holes. And sometimes you had to wait on the ladder, because you had to wait for the thing to drop under you so you could land on it. That whole section was pretty cool.
I actually thought this is what you meant, because at a certain point you said, doing X level without the leaf attack thing, or the leaf shield is hard. And it was a level that had these platforms in it, and I was thinking, you're not wrong. It was way easier because if you're on the platform, you can just use your leaf shield and just stand there.
And then this is the level with the turrets, which is one of the most infuriating bosses out of all 3 games. It's more a puzzle but it's a shitty puzzle because to actually get all the turrets blown up in one go with the amount of crash you have, you actually have to find a way to get 2 with one shot.
Drew, do you want to tell the lovely viewers and like listeners like the first thing you and I both thought of when we went through this? The whole rigmarole?
The whole rigmarole? Wait, what did we think of?
We said this is just the MGS1 stairs. It's a rite of passage for the Mega Man series.
Yes. Yeah, so this is after finally clearing this with Dave giving us some advice in the Discord chat. Like, yeah, we were like, this is our Mega Man rite of passage that we fucking... this is our hazing. We got hazed at the frat house, at the Mega Man frat house with this fight because it fucking sucks dick, but everybody's got to do it to get into Mega Man.
You gotta do it. Like, again, I would agree with Dave. Out of the ones we played, for sure, like, Mega Man 2 is the best one. But even still, it's just like Dark Souls, and it's got better chaos. You gotta have a stinker in here that knows it's a stinker, because both... It's so crazy how this is Bed of Chaos. Because in Dark Souls, if you die in Bed of Chaos, your progress is saved, and you can retry it. That doesn't happen to any other boss. And in this game, if you die because you're out of crash ammo and you get you respawn, thankfully all the barriers you blow up are still gone. So it knew it was shit, and it's like, just do it, man, just do it, just get through it.
But here's the thing that really sucks. One, when you die in this boss, it sends you back like 7 screens. You got to do all the platform stuff again, waiting on the platforms.
That stinks.
When you die, your ammo for all the other weapons doesn't respawn, so you have to farm ammunition, get your crash bombs back up. So I was in that corridor beforehand with the Joe guys in the mechs. I was there for a long time. Luckily, the quick boomerangs make quick work of the mechs, so that was okay. But man, I had to farm for quite a while to get my crash bombs back up.
Me too. It's so weird how it's like... I know they made almost all these games like within like under a year. It had to have been, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting how it's like, did anyone not foresee how strict this ammo is? It just seems crazy to have this fly under the radar.
Well, also, I don't know if they were thinking about this at this point in time, like in 1989, but a big thing for developers in that era was to not worry about games being too hard because they cost a chunk of money to sell, and they didn't want like reviews saying that it wasn't worth the money because it was too quick to beat. And then that got even worse once rental stores started renting games, because it's like, oh, we don't want anybody to be able to rent this game and then beat it in a weekend.
Yeah, that's crazy because back then it really was, we had to make the game harder so they can potentially get their money's worth. That's crazy.
After all, these games cost up to and including $70.
Yeah, of that.
Yeah, they did.
Of that era's money.
Yeah,
crazy.
Jesus.
I do wonder how much of that was like new technology in terms of like creating the cartridge itself too.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't just greed. I have a memory of saving up to buy my first NES game from Costco, and the game I ended up buying was $30, and I had to save up for quite a while because, I was like an 8-year-old kid. Actually, I might have been 10 by that point. And it was a shitty game as well. So that's why it was $30. But
talk about a rite of passage. Yep. Yeah. You got to save up as a kid to buy that shitty game.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think we've all had that game where either we bought it because it looked cool, or we got it for Christmas or a birthday, and it was like, oh man, this sucks. But well, it's a game. I have it. I guess I'll get good at it.
Hell yeah! And for Drew, it just happened to be, thankfully, a Wii and Mario.
Actually, true. We were talking about how New Super Mario Brothers Wii sold like hotcakes, and it was my fault. It was my grandma's fault. It was my grandma's fault.
Drew's grandma is goated.
Drew's grandma is goated. She's the reason
We love Drew's grandma.
Kinda. She's the reason I started my video game journey for sure.
But
yeah,
I
that's all I've heard about her, so that's all I know of her.
I do just want to say, though, that New Super Mario Bros. Wii, while it's not a game a lot of people like, that's not even close to a bad game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely
True.
not. Absolutely not.
Sure, it's a game that Donkey would dunk on, but what the fuck does that even mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that it truly is less than worthless to me. I can't even lie.
Okay, so
Anyway, Mega Man.
we go through the robot boss fights. Then we have the first Wily stage, which he's in another one of his like flying contraptions. You take it down pretty quickly, and then this game does something a little different. You're sent into this level where you just start falling forever, like 5 screens worth of falling. Then you're in a cavern with things dripping from the ceiling that will hurt you if you get hit by it. Then
There's
you go
like
through
red ooze.
Yeah, and then you go through a boss door, and Wily's there, and he turns into a fucking alien.
Dude, that was actual insanity. Like, I actually was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, that actually genuinely surprised me. Out of all the times I've heard people be like, I love Mega Man 2 because it has the leaf shield and it has the metal blades and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, Mega Man 2, everybody loves Mega Man 2. But I've never heard about the alien twist. That actually surprised the shit out of me.
And this echoes Mega Man 3, but I hope they did it for 4, 5, and 6 as well, because I can't remember. But the worst weapon you get in this game ends up being what can kill the final boss. In this case, it's the bubble lead.
It's hysterical to me.
And I found this fight pretty hard because you only have that small window to actually hit him and avoid all his shots.
Once I clued in on or looked up, I don't remember which one I did. I think I looked it up. I don't remember. I actually really enjoyed because he flies around and he shoots, pretty consistently. And then I was able to get a shot and then like start, dodging again. And then I was able to get a shot and then keep dodging again. I was like, this takes a while, but I kind of like it. It felt way more fair to me than that garbage I did beforehand with the like Wily's spaceship, where it's like, yeah, this is impossible to dodge. And it's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
So honestly, what a goofy ending, right?
Yep. Well, I actually like the reveal once you beat him,
Oh, yeah, it's great. I just mean like it's goofy like MGS goofy,
Oh, yeah, definitely, because you beat him, and what happens, like the lights, I guess, turn on in this place, and you see that Wily wasn't an alien. He was actually just using a giant like electronic construct of an alien that maybe was a hologram to fight you. And then he jumps out and grovels at your feet again.
Well, fucking legend shit. I also liked how I was getting hit by him, and I was like, what the flip? And, because of course if you get hit by anyone in this game, it's a huge deal. And I was like, wait, it's a projector. How was I getting hit from a projector? And I was like, oh, because he had to use this little like purple stand-in thing, to control where he was going. That's kind of clever. I was hitting a real thing. I just thought it was an alien.
And if you're a Red Dwarf fan, it could have been a hard light hologram.
True.
Drew, you don't know what he's talking about.
So fucking true.
Drew, you just want to get this podcast done. Stop it.
Red Dwarfs, I love Gimli.
Oh my
Let's fucking go.
Oh my god.
Well, we don't have too much to talk about. I just wanted to go into the Wily stages of Mega Man 3 because already I thought it was a step down from Mega Man 2. I played through 8 Robot Masters that I'm not having a good time with. There are a couple levels I liked. I think I liked Snake Man. I thought Gemini Man's level was really cool. With using the Rush Marine and shooting all the bubbles, and yeah, that was cool. But for the most part, I wasn't having a good time. But what I do remember is that Mega Man 3 is kind of more game, because after you beat those 8 Robot Masters, there are 4 remix stages. And would anyone like to inform our listeners who you fight in these remix stages?
Yeah, sure. You do these remix stages, and so you go through a remix of one of the 4 stages, and halfway through and at the end, you fight a big robot called Doc Man that gets possessed by, I guess, the souls of one of the bosses of like each of the bosses from Mega Man 2. So basically, you essentially have to fight the bosses from Mega Man 2 again at a new body, and you have to do it with the powers you have this time and figure out what their weakness is this time, which in theory is a cool idea. But all these fights suck dick, and they're not really enjoyable because not really most of the weapons in 3 are not really that enjoyable to use. They're like kind of quirked up, but that's about it.
Yeah, so, like Shadow Blade is probably the best weapon in the game, and it's basically like
it's so nerfed.
Yeah,
it's a nerfed Metal Blade.
What if Metal Blade, but it sucked?
Yeah, exactly. It fucking blows. And then the Dockmans like hit really fucking hard. And then with the ones that are halfway through the stage, if you die, you actually get sent back to the beginning, even though there's a boss hallway. So it's genuinely very frustrating and stupid.
And the hitboxes of 3 are so bad, like it's really hard to jump over Dockman.
What were they thinking? No, the hitboxes were really bad. I do think that was the worst part about MM3. That's right. We're now going to do abbreviations. I do think in MM3 compared to MM2 and MM1, right? The hitboxes somehow got worse. How do you take 3? This is worse than Mega Man 1. How do you take 3 years and you get worse at it?
Yeah, it does feel like they were trying a lot of new things, but they were very rushed.
I mean, yeah, this game really gives this game really does give like crunched development time.
Because
it almost feels like they had to rush this thing out by Christmas or something, you know?
Yeah, genuinely. It gives, we have to get it, and Christmas is tomorrow, and the prom is tomorrow.
And the president's gonna visit, yeah.
But, like...
and the mother-in-law is coming tonight.
Oh,
and the alien's visiting next Tuesday. It's Wily again.
And the Bible said Jesus returns on the October. What the fuck? Anyway.
Dork and I played a little bit of Mega Man 4. And yes, I'm forging ahead, damn it. Dork and I played...
Forging ahead? That's clever, yes. Dave.
We played a little bit of Mega Man 4, and from the 3 levels I played, I think I can say that 4 feels like they had a lot more time to work out what they want to do, because it feels like there's more energy in creating the game. It feels like 2 again, where they wanted to get fun with some of the designs and the levels. Whereas, 3 felt like a slog.
100%. And yeah, like in like the few levels I played for 4, they had really cool ideas for the levels themselves. I noticed I barely had to rewind much, and I used the rewind a lot in 3. So I think they were a little more forgiving with the few enemies, I thought. So I'm like, this is... Like, I was even saying to Drew, I wouldn't mind if you're like, well, let's do 4, 5, and 6 as a different pick, you know, in the future. Because, it's a fun time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, playing 1 through 3 all at once, like, burned all of us out, I feel. And I don't think I could see myself retrying 2. 1 and 3 definitely not ever again. But I wouldn't say like, and I'm totally closed off from playing the rest of it, because it's like I really would like to play the rest of these Mega Man games, and especially I would like to try to get into X and some of the other spin-offs. I just wanted like a little bit more proper. I always like having like the proper context for things. So
you should like what GW offers.
Oh God!
True.
But I will say that I think it's up to you, dear listener. If you'd like us to do 4, 5, and 6 sometime in the future, let us know.
Yeah, we have no idea. This could genuinely be our most popular episode. Maybe there's a bunch of people like, finally people are talking about Mega Man again, you know?
A bunch of 50-year-olds
hey.
in a nursing home.
Drew, what the fuck?
Sorry, it's 11 p.m. I'm crashing out.
What the fuck? You're doing crack?
It's 11, yeah, I'm cracking out at 11 p.m.
So the reason I brought up Mega Man 4 is because despite every problem I had with Mega Man 3, I think it ended on a strong note. The Wily stages were some of the most fun I've had in the entire trilogy we played.
Yeah, they're pretty enjoyable stages. Like the one where you have to continually use and refill the rush jet. I got a lot of utility out of the spring, and the bosses are, for the most part, they're not that great actually, but I didn't mind them conceptually.
I hated the triple doppelganger fight where only one of them is vulnerable. Dude, eat my left shoe. What is this?
So the gimmick, or at least the strategy for that fight, is apparently you shoot a snake at every level. I'm like, you don't have time to hit every level.
No normal person is doing that.
Not only that, so there's a platform you have to jump on to get access to floor 2 and 3. It wouldn't even let me do it because all three would shoot at you and it would knock me off the platform anytime I try. So it's like, I know I've been up there at some point, but I must have damage sponged it. Like, how is someone supposed to avoid these hits?
Yeah, I just used for this and the Wily boss, I used my huge tank of E-tanks. We never talked about that. But yeah, Mega Man 2 introduces E-tanks, which you collect, and you can fill up your health at any point by entering the menu. And yeah, by the time I hit Wily, I had 9 of them. So because I was rewinding all the time. So yeah, I just on the doppelganger fight, I just stayed at the bottom, and if the bottom one was the one, I would just attack it until the next time it came around, and I would heal. And the same thing with the first Wily fight where he has that pin machine.
Jesus, that's the one that got me. That's the one I despise.
And then the second phase of the fight, if you're underneath it, he squishes you. But I found that's better. If you just use the Shadow Blade, you can just shoot up at him, and he'll die before he kills you by squishing you.
That's what I did. In fact, I used all my E-tanks because I stayed under him. Because I was just like, dude, let me spam you, man. Let me spam you and close this game out, man.
Yeah.
So, I used all my E-tanks there, and it's fun. And then the game isn't over.
Even think about that.
Well, also, I think the reason these stages were so enjoyable was they gave you ample top-ups of health and ammo and E-tanks and lives.
Mm-hmm. True. That's true.
But yeah, we're not done, because apparently the story of this game, because there's a cutscene after the remix stages, apparently Dr. Light and Dr. Wily were working together to collect 8 crystals to stop this super weapon called Gamma. And then after you collect those, after you collect all 8 crystals from these robot masters, Wily steals them all and goes, haha, I'm going to control Gamma and take over the world. So after you fight Wily, you have to fight Gamma.
Good heavens.
I had an awesome time with this because I didn't look anything up, or Drew didn't tell me a cool hint or anything. I was just like, I'm gonna use my little floaty dog, hop up there, and I'm just gonna fucking use anything that I think might work. And I forget what ended up working. He took damage.
Top spin.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is dope.
Dog shit weapon. Yeah.
It took 2 spins.
Yeah. Dude, I actually like the top spin conceptually. The only problem I have with it is that the ammo seemed really weirdly inconsistent. Where sometimes I think it's if you take damage as you do it, you'll lose almost all of it. It's like, what?
And it's that thing where if you get hit by anybody, you lose a lot of health. So that's a weapon that basically is designed for you to get up close to an enemy. So if it goes wrong, nope.
But it was so cool to use because he's in his little capsule thing, And it's just boom. It kind of felt sick. It felt cool. Come on, you can't deny it, Dave. This is the best boss in the game. This is the best boss in the series. Come on, Dave. You can't deny this is the best boss in the series, right?
Oh, I can.
Like hell I can. So true.
I think my favorite fight bosses in the series, Wily bosses, are, I love the dragon at the start of Mega Man 2. And I really like the Yellow Devil rematch in Mega Man 3.
Ooh, it is cool in Mega Man 3, I can't lie.
The slide. I agree.
Yeah.
But this was really cool, especially if you fight him the quote-unquote proper way. You use Shadow Blade to destroy the gun on the bottom of him. So then Gamma will try to punch you with a giant fist that comes in from the right side of the screen. You jump on the fist, and that's how you get up to that platform.
That's cool.
It is cool.
And surprisingly, it had an end credits that showed every robot, didn't it?
Well, there's a reason because of that. Because Wily grovels again, and then two huge pieces of trash come down. One on Wily, one on Mega Man, and you think, oh no, we're both dead. And then Proto Man comes in and rescues Mega Man and fucks off. So it's like, I guess Wily's dead.
Thank fuck.
Probably fucking not, but that's fucking awesome.
Well, because Mega Man 4...
Oh, he even says, where's Dr. Wily? Oh no, too late. That's what Proto Man says.
Can I just say, with both Mega Man 2 and 3, like, it felt like they were, like, trying to put, like, a fucking neat little bow on shit. Because Mega Man 2, like, they end the game, there's, like, a nice little credits thing, and then, like, you see Mega Man's helmet, like, in a grass field, and it's like, oh, what a heartwarming ending that he's put down his robot fighting ways, and he goes on to live a normal life, and then Mega Man 3 is, like, fucking Dr. Neo Cortex steals the crystals, and you have to go fucking, you have to he betrays you and lied right to your face so that you have to stop him. And so you go there, and then Proto Man was good the whole time, which was cool because you see Proto Man throughout the game. And then in the credits, they're like, and guys, this was a nice trilogy, and here's all the robots from all three games. And then number 1 is Mega Man, but then number 0 was Proto Man, the brother of Mega Man. And then I watched a YouTube video to see like what other strats people had used for the final boss. And one of the comments under the thing was like, who else cried when brother of Mega Man? And I was like, so fucking true, dude. So fucking true.
And where were you when brother of Mega Man?
And when Drew typed that in chat, and I said, look, the ending to Klonoa, I get. This stuff...
Yeah. Not fucking Mega Man, dude.
This is
I
literally... Evangelion shit, you know?
Dude, it's actually like Evangelion. Like fucking Dr. Light is like Gendo Ikari, and then Mega Man is like Shinji Ikari.
Yeah,
and then
it's all coming together.
is like Asuka, and then Proto Man is the gay boy that gets beheaded, and it's exactly the same.
But you've also neglected to mention how Mega Man 3 ends. Again, it's a helmet with a nice starry backdrop, but it does that NES thing that some games did, where there is no going back to the game until you reset the cartridge or turn the console off.
Yeah, Dork was like, "What the fuck? Why can't I go back?" And I had to explain it in Dork terms. It'd be like, "It's like Zelda."
Wait, you were being a jerk to me?
No. I'm sorry. I'm saying I'm getting tired. No, I was like, no. I think it's like the Zelda games. It's like the Zelda games where they just end.
I had to dumb it down for this dumbass here, right?
I had to dumb it down for
No. It was confusing because I was like, I'm on the Legacy Collection. I don't remember closing out of the game in the credits before. What's going on? So I guess they're pretty faithful, which is neat, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's Mega Man 3. So the last thing I wanted us to do before Drew tells us what we're playing next time is, even though I know the first answer, I'd like you all to rank the games from most favorite to least favorite. Now look, I think 2 is going to be at the top of our list, but I think 1 and 3 could move some spots depending on who's talking.
This will be interesting because so in terms of my like ratings system, 2 out of 5 means I barely liked it, right? I gave Mega Man 1 and 3 a 1.5 and Mega Man 2 a 1.75. A new rating I invented this year saying, my goodness, I almost liked this, right? I really, really, really almost liked Mega Man 2. But, so that's obviously number 1. I don't know, though. Like, I keep thinking of, like, Snake Man's stage, Shadow Man's music, like the whole like Wily Castle in 3, and it's just like, do I like 3 more? with the shitty hitboxes and the remix stages that annoyed me. Like, really? I think I might have to give it to 3. I think I might go 2, 3, 1.
Okay. Drew.
So, guys, help me do like a little. What do you think? Should I rank them by like the like the overall presentation, or should I go purely by like the stages?
I think whatever you care about the most kind of links to your enjoyment of the games overall.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I think in that case. Sorry, Dork.
I was gonna say I'll dumb it down in Drew terms, right? Which one do you like more? Which one do you like less?
Jesus.
No, act like this is a React stream to someone doing their soundtrack rankings, right?
Okay, so guys, we need to see. So which one are they going to say that they like more? Which one are they going to say that they like less? And then I'll judge them. Yeah,
this is perfect. You know, wait, Drew, you should react to my rankings, and then you'll know how you feel.
Jesus Christ, my streams fucking suck ass. Anyway,
your streams are great.
Yeah, I actually really love doing those.
Yeah, they're fun.
I would say, you know what, I'm gonna truly say, from the first fucking stage that I played in 3, I was like, something is fucking wrong. Oh my god. I think I did Snake Man, or I did Magnet Man first, and I was just like, holy shit, this is such a downgrade, oh my god. And that just kind of persisted all the way through the game, because I guess purely on the basis of this, with that first Wily fight, I genuinely got like so angry that I like lost my temper. Like I was having an actual Aaron Hansen moment, and I was like, fortunately my like roommate wasn't home, I don't think, but I was just like kind of like being like, what the fuck? Like really loud in my room, because I was just like so like overwhelmed by the fight. I hated it. Because I was trying to use the hard knuckle to fucking hit Wily, because that's what the YouTuber told me to do, and that just pissed me off.
Yep.
Oh, it made me so angry.
I hate YouTubers.
And so then I couldn't like think straight and be like, maybe I should just try to use the Shadow Blade, because then like I was too angry. So that part is kind of my bad. But I just hate when video games make me that angry. Whereas when it came to Mega Man 1, at least I was like, well, that sucks, but I will give it a good rewind, and it's pretty funny because this is their first try ever, so it's kind of funny, you know what I mean? So...
This is my favorite part of the podcast.
We're just like, it's kind of funny, you know?
It's kind of funny that it's not very good, you know? It's kind of funny. Exactly. You tried.
Yeah, at the end of the day, certified hood classic, so I think I would have to go 2, 1, 3. Okay. 21 is number 3.
Dude, it's like this. You did Zelda terms for me.
Yeah, I did Zelda terms just for you, and you did Zelda terms just for you, because you said 23 is number 1.
Flashback to our Klonoa. Yeah.
Yes, Klonoa.
Well, I actually don't know what my ranking is, so I'm going to do this on the fly like both of you. I just thought it'd be fun to do. And actually, the problem I have is the same one you both had. Like 2, yeah, it's leagues above both 1 and 3. It's shining up on the hill. But yeah, it's like, even though I liked Wily's stage in 3, is it worth the bullshit of the rest of the game? Even though the presentation and even the control is a lot better. I think the hitboxes are fucked, but I think with the slide and the way just Mega Man controls, I think it is better in 3 than 1. But then, yeah, like Drew said, sometimes you've got to give a first attempt a lot more leeway. Like, oh, they tried. They didn't quite get there. But, you know, I could see how you could make something really good out of this. So,
Wait. I have to say this, Dave. I want you to know, it is tied right now. Me and Drew each have our own teams, and you're going to join one of us. So this is a big fucking deal, Dave.
Or the stakes have never been lower.
Or oh wow. Take that, Mega Man.
Okay, Dave, lay it on us.
Or I could lie and say 2's my least favorite.
That'd be funny.
That would have been the gaslight long con of the century if you did that.
Or I could do something really fucking shitty and just go, 3 and 1 are tied in second place, so I'm different. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Shut up.
No.
You should pick Mega Man 4. That'd be funny.
That would be funny.
4, even though I've only played 3 stages at the moment, 4 is under number 2 for me.
Oh.
You know, if we do end up doing an episode with 4, 5, 6, I think we'd have to rank all 6, but that would be tough because we wouldn't remember what 1, 2, and 3 are like.
Well, watch the pod again. It'll be fine.
That's true. Look, I'm sorry, Dork. I got to go with Drew. It's 2, 1, 3.
Let's go.
21 is the
Drew
number
wins.
3.
21 is number 3.
It's like, I think 3 is a better game than 1, but it just had too many negatives.
What is funny? 3 isn't funny.
Yeah.
1 has the traumatizing blocks. 1 has the stupid... Oh, there was that stage. I think it was Airman. I don't know who. I forget all the names at this point. Where it's just like these flying enemies just pissed me off so much, dude.
Oh, that was Electman. That was funny, though. The little UFOs with the little balls. That's funny.
Oh, you mean when you're climbing the ladder and those green things come down and shoot electricity at you? I hated those so much.
Those were...
You know what Mega
I think
Man
those
1
were funny.
No, do you know what Mega Man 1 reminds me of? Probably why I think it's funny is it reminds me of when I would make Mario Maker levels that were just like so bullshit hard. Because I just had no experience.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, so it's probably why I'm like a lot kinder to it, because I'm genuinely like, that's hilarious that they just like put a stage together and they thought it was awesome, but they didn't think about how people would see it like 30 years down the line.
No, that's so funny, Drew. That's really funny.
Thank you.
You know, and it was your first try, so it was just funny hearing you say that. It was your first try.
Wow. Guys, I've never
Drew
been on a podcast before. I'm the intern here. I just joined this week.
No, seriously, it's like Drew's fading, your snark has risen to a new level, and it's just like...
We're so done. It's almost midnight.
It's like there are 2 wolves inside every podcast. Which wolf are you going to feed?
True.
Oh my god.
Or Wolfos in Zelda terms.
No.
The fuck.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna shoot myself.
You can cut that out if you want.
Well, I gotta leave that in. Okay, but before we completely lose our minds, Drew is the next pick. So, Drew, tell the people what we're going to be playing next.
Yes. I'm so fucking happy. And I'm so fucking happy. I'm so fucking happy because now it's my turn to hype something disproportionately. Because next we're going to be playing one of my favorite games of all fucking time. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. The Mario RPGs are really, really big standouts, both in terms of like the greater Mario franchise and the whole RPG genre. And Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, I mean, both of those, all 3 of those original games, like the whole style is just like really ingrained in who I fucking am as a person. Like, I think when Dork and Dave like play this, I think they'll really see how like the art style is just part of me, like that really influenced to like how I go about like making stuff, like drawing stuff. The music is just so Drew coded. It's just so fucking crazy and energetic and maximalist. But the writing especially, I think, is what's really going to, like, make it. Like, I think in that next episode, we'll just be quoting the game left and right. I think that's what Dave and Dork will really, really love and appreciate about it. Because especially the Thousand-Year Door, Mario gets into some scenarios that you could not ever fucking conceive Mario to fucking be in. Like, it genuinely, sticks out even to this day.
Did a sex scene? Actually, that'd be fucking amazing if they did. I won't lie.
I won't lie. you will be shocked by how accurate that little throwaway gag is in the next
sick.
Genuinely. But I think you guys will genuinely really appreciate a lot about the game. But I will say there are definitely things to criticize about the 1,000-Year Door. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't. But this is one of those games to me where you will say something you don't like about the game, and I probably agree with you, but I don't give a shit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've all had that, yeah.
Yeah.
I've often said that to me, the mark of a great game is when its strengths outweigh its weaknesses. It's like you don't ignore the weaknesses or say that it doesn't have them, because all games do, but it's like, yeah, it does these things I don't like, but I don't care, because it does these things I love.
Yeah, and I even will say, I know, Dave, this is so funny, because I think you've told me this a couple times, that you played Super Paper Mario for the Wii, which is not a great game by any means in terms of gameplay, but the writing in that game is hysterical. But I remember you telling me, like, yeah, I got to when Mario goes to hell, and I was like, Dave, you were, like, right fucking there, dude. You were, like, at the second to last chapter, dude, which I just think is hilarious. But Dork, I don't really think other than you've played the original Mario RPG, right? So this is like your first foray into like the next part of like that lineage of Mario RPGs, right?
Yeah, I played the Super Mario RPG for a very gamer reason. I think we can all respect it. Gino was apparently rumored to be an ultimate, so I'm like, I gotta play the source material, so I played the Super Mario RPG.
Christ.
And I did play maybe an hour or two of Bowser's Inside Story, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think we'll get into it. Mario and Luigi, I don't know, I like the games for playing, like, I like the presentation of the games, like, I really love all the characters and the interpretations of the characters in that game, but there's just something about it where I just, like, end up putting them down for whatever reason. But, like, Paper Mario just, like, has its fucking hooks in me. It's crazy. Even the entries I don't really like that much, which we will get into, but this is not the time or place for it yet.
Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to that because, yeah, this is a game I've heard hyped up not only by you, but many people for years. It's just one I've just never gotten around to. You know, we all have like a truckload. No, we have a warehouse full of games like that for all of us.
Yes.
Where, you know, the infamous, oh yeah, I should play that someday.
Hell yeah.
Except this time we're gonna do it. We have everyone, this is the reason. Well, the reason we made the pod was because of the end of the year episodes. But besides that, this was the idea, right? Was to share, you know, our like favorites. So this is gonna be peak post game clarity.
Yes, it actually genuinely will. Another addendum is that I will be saying we will be playing the Switch remake because it really is just the original that has just been like, are there some tweaks that are like, sure, but on the whole, it's just like really taking one of my favorite games and just like polishing it even more. All right, well, that'll be great for next time, but as for now, this has been Post-Game Clarity, where after the game
comes the groveling from Wily.
Okay.
Get down, Mr. Wily.
That's fucking awesome.
Mr. President, get down.
Get down, sir, get down.